up, okay? Shut the up.
Do you want to start drinking?
Yes.
Clear alcohols are for rich women on diets.
You know, I'm going to have to go for 420, Bob.
Cheez-Its. Cheez-Its. Cheez-Its.
Light this candle.
He's right. Let's light this candle. Light the candle.
Take me in the finish where the ash is all about. Bring me down on all the beach and dump the sucker out. Burn me to a rotten crisp and toast me for a while. I can really get shit going on style.
Going out in style, it's Drew and KB bringing it to you from the Iron Jock Studio.
Absolutely.
Built by Rima Remodel. And if you came here looking for your favorite smooth hits from the 90s and after, you stuck with us.
Thank you.
We're glad to be here. Hello, Madison. Hello, interwebs. Hello, world. It's the Tuesday edition of our little program that you can't live without, Drew and KB. And we come to you on the heels of a deflating and yet scintillating Brewers 2-1 loss in game one of the National League Championship Series.
It was disappointing, but I didn't watch at the end of the game. I didn't leave that game feeling bad about the team. What I left the game feeling was like they can hang with anybody.
And they did last night, although they didn't hang with Blake Snell. Blake Snell, here's the thing. If you're watching that game and you live in Topeka, Kansas, and you don't give a rat's ass about the Brewers or the Dodgers, you just want to watch baseball, you saw one of the best pitched postseason games in history. You saw the greatest double play in postseason history and arguably in baseball history. And then you saw the home team come back from the dead in the ninth inning and load the bases with a chance to win on a single pitch that swung the game that Bryce Terang struck out on. It was phenomenal theater. Over 2 hours and 53 minutes at American Family Field.
Well, you get to this level, every pitcher is going to be great. So I'm not going to.
Every pitcher is great, but Blake Snell allowed one base runner in 8 innings. He was otherworldly. He was Koufaxian.
Without a doubt.
That was no hit stuff last night. That's how brilliant, and he did it to the Phillies too.
I'm not arguing, but what I'm saying is,
and the Brewers,
it was only pitching, 2-1.
The Brewers pitching, Freddie Freeman hit a moon ball that scraped the wall. And then Uribe had some struggles.
Scraped the top of the roof, too.
You could also say that the Dodgers were an inch away from blowing the game open with a grand slam that turned into a double play. But it was phenomenal theater. It was phenomenal theater. And you're right, the Brewers shouldn't be disheartened, but losing game one was not a good blueprint for the series. But it was a spectacular game. Now, the Brewers did nothing for 8 innings. Blake Snell through 7 innings had faced 21 batters because Caleb Durbin led off an inning and then was erased as a stolen base, and the next 2 guys were out. And it was like they had nothing going against that guy. It was an incredible, and it is up there among the best postseason pitching performances of all time. I mean, other than Don Larson, you can't pitch much better than he pitched. It's one more inning, which he could have probably gone. The Dodgers bullpen is their soft underbelly. And we're going to talk to our buddy Bill Schroeder about that as we move forward. And once you get into their boat, once they got Blake Snell out of the game, it was like going to a spa. Hey, we got guys on base. We got traffic. We got a chance. Christian Yelich got to walk. Now, we're going to talk throughout the day. We got our buy and sell segment coming up. We're about to have beers on the table with our buddy Wayne Larrivee.
Are we?
Voice of the Packers. He's joining us today. We'll talk about the Packers and coming off their first victory in a month. We'll catch up with Wayne. But we'll talk to Bill Schroeder too. And there's a couple of things from last night that jump out. Again, we got to talk at length about that unbelievable double play. We got to talk about.
I've never seen anything like that.
We got to talk about Snell, and we got to talk about again the I would say the conventional wisdom about the ninth inning, about the final at bat of the game. People saying Bryce Terang should have let that ball hit him.
You know what? When you're in the moment and the ball's coming at you at 95 plus miles an hour, you're not thinking that quick.
No, it was a breaking ball, but still, it was like you can't react. You're not thinking that unless you're like
Alfonso Soriano, Javi Baez.
Unless you're Ogilvy from Bad News Bears going up there hoping to get hit. You just react. You can't have in your mind, all right, I'm ready to attack this pitch. I'm going to hit. Oh, let it hit me. You can't. Your brain doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't.
And so if you're mad at Bryce Terang for that, I think that's misguided. He swung at a pitch. He struck out on a pitch at his eyeballs. That was the worst pitch than not getting hit. He basically turned down a free pass that would have tied the game. So there was the pitch that inside that could have hit him on the back leg. And there's also the pitch that he swung at, which to me was worse. But yeah, Brewers got it another day. They got Freddie Peralta on the mound, and they're not facing Blake Snell.
That's a good thing.
So I think there's some reason for some cockeyed optimism that they can even the series tonight. If they don't even the series tonight, I don't know that it comes back to Milwaukee. I said before on the outset, the Brewers had the best team in the National League. They were the best team in the National League in the 2025 championship season. But the Dodgers are the most talented team in the tournament. The Dodgers have Hall of Famers and MVPs and Cy Young guys, and it's just a fact. We love our scrappy Brewers, but you go guy for guy. In most cases, you're taking the Dodger guy over the Brewers guy, position by position. I hate to say it. It's just the facts. You can get us on the NicoletLaw.com talking text line 877-794-1973. It still is. We're still streaming. We're still YouTubing. We're still doing all the stuff that we do.
I'd like to point out, though, since we've gone over here and we're only streaming, and the live stream, no one ever sold our live stream. So we'd like to point out that this part of the program is brought to you by our buddy Murph.
It's Murph Day.
Just for this segment of the show. And we got other people that are going to be. Why'd you take that off? There we go. Our buddy Murph is there. And you can go, if you go to the live stream, you can see Murph's picture there. So he's one of our great, smart, and good looking listeners. And if you want to be featured, if you want to send us your picture, text it to 877-794-1973, and we're going to put our smart and good-looking listeners up. You can support the Drew and KB online live stream just by sending us your picture.
That's right.
Sticking with us. So
it's
there you go.
Like every time you get to June, the local TV stations show pictures of graduates.
That's what it is. Got anyone turning 6?
Yeah.
Or anyone turning, I would say 97.3, but that's all kind of like,
what are we, the Today Show? You're not Willard Scott. Come
no,
on, get out of here.
And why would I say 90.7.3? I mean,
that's the station that used to be.
You know what? When we were in Vegas, I went and saw Adele. Right? Remember, we were out there. It was you, me, Zabe, and our buddies John and Jim.
It was Jim and Kurt. Yeah.
Jim and Kurt, right? And I said, you guys were going to like a bikini contest at Circa, and I had a guy call and say I got tickets to Adele, and you didn't bust my chops. He said, no, you got to go see the legends when you can go see the legends, right?
You had free tickets to a very sought-after show in Vegas.
Oh, right. Free tickets to it. It was a tough show in Vegas. And but since that time, I've never listened to Adele, but you can on the news station instead of listening to us. If you need an Adele fix.
Yeah, well, you're right. Why talk about bygones?
I know.
The old lady was put to bed at noon yesterday.
But here's what I'm saying.
But we are.
If you want to support our show, right, which hopefully you do, if you're a smart, good-looking listener, text us your picture.
Yeah.
We'll put you on the live stream.
You can very well find yourself on a live stream and then capture it, take a photo of it, and tape it to the fridge. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, 877-794-1973. You can text us anytime. If you call us, you're going to be a member of the Bomb Squad because Hunter Baumgart is on his way. Not the Bomb Squad, the Bomb Squad. Hunter Baumgart is on his way to the ballpark to cover the pregame stuff, and hopefully he'll send us some sound that we can spin through later. There will be a baseball pregame show on these airwaves and interwebs coming up at 5 o'clock. And we have the pleasure of working today with our pal, the Polish pipe bomb, Jeff Orlowski. Ladies and gentlemen, hello, Bomb Squad. What's up?
Hello, America.
You're with us till the bitter end, aren't you? Yes, indeed.
Of course he is.
Hell yes. So how was Tim yesterday? He had to be disconsolate, but also Tim Allen, our pal, the number one Brewers guy and the Pied Piper of that merry band of late night Brewers fans who listen to the baseball postgame show. He had to realize that was a special night for Blake Snell. That guy was just filthy.
Yeah, there's no lineup in baseball that was going to hit him yesterday. And, you don't expect to run into a Snell saw, especially in game one. The Brewers did, unfortunately. But if you look at the bright side, they still had a chance to win there in the ninth. So they hung in, they battled all game long. So he was calmer than you would have thought that he would have been. And I kind of was too. I expected the Brewers to win. They came up just short. It sucks. Let's go kick their ass today.
There you go. It's funny because I was in the press box sitting next to Hunter, and I was on the X, the Twitter. We used to call it the X. And I put out something about, through 7 innings, Blake Snell has been unbelievable. He's only faced 21 batters, which is the minimum. He had one base runner. And the Brewers at that point had only hit like 3 balls to the outfield. in 7 innings. That's how it was. 10. They struck out 10 times in 8 innings against Snell, and they barely put the ball over the infield. And I put that out there and I was a writer, and sometimes like when you're a writer, all those years I covered baseball, sometimes you can say in one sentence what you can say. You can take a 4-sentence paragraph and sum it up in one sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And as I put that into the world, and I was trying to say how great Blake Snell was, I got a text from our pal, the Prince of Darkness, Tom Haudricourt, the baseball beat writer emeritus, my running mate at the Journal-Sentinel for all those years. And he simply said, "This is the most lopsided 1-0 game in the history of baseball."
In only a way that he can.
It felt like 10-0 because of the way the Snell was pitching. The Brewers were down 1 run, but as long as that guy was on the mound, it felt like 10-0. And you've seen that in football games, and there's like the psychology of it where you have that feeling. And the Brewers were literally one swing away from tying or winning the game. But during the time Snell was on the mound and the score was 1-0. Now, it was 1-0. And yes, Freeman's home run was a moonshot that scraped the back of the wall.
Unbelievable.
Which was unbelievable. It was one of the highest home runs you're ever going to see, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they were also an inch or two away from a grand slam and that freakish double play. And it was so funny too, because Sal Frelick, you know him, Miss Sue's favorite Brewers,
right.
Uniform's dirty, they're going to win. He was mad that he didn't catch it. Murph talked about it in the post game. Sal was mad that he didn't catch it. If he'd have caught it, they'd have scored.
Right.
The fact that he didn't catch it allowed them to get the double play. That will be remembered forever. It's going to be one of those goofy plays on, remember when they used to have This Week in Baseball and highlight shows and stuff? It's going to live forever online. And I spent a lot of time talking to Quinn Priester after the game, and he was wave after wave of people coming and asking about that and his outing and how he recovered from that rough start at Chicago, how he put that behind him and pitched better last night. And he was very funny. He's very articulate and thoughtful. That's the first time I had spent a lot of time talking to Quinn Priester, and he was very articulate and thoughtful. I enjoyed the conversation, but he said he was, as he watched it unfold, he was wondering, he was trying to back up bases, trying to figure out so nothing bad would happen. And then he looked into the Dodgers dugout, and when he saw Dave Roberts make the headphone gesture,
mm-hmm.
he's like, "Oh crap." He said, "On our team, we don't do that unless it's 100%. I thought it was a grand slam. I thought it was a home run that it went over the wall,
right,
and that they just missed the call." And he's like, "Oh crap." And then like everybody else, we all found it at the same time. So we're going to talk more about that play with Bill Schroeder, and we'll move forward. But I will say this, and it's not game balls and kicks to the balls Monday. We're going to do buy or sell later. But Brian Anderson nailed that call as well as anybody could have on an unprecedented play. Brian Anderson saw, I don't know, I'll have to ask BA if he was looking at the monitor, because he can't really see from the press box, 400 feet, 500
mm-hmm.
feet away, if that ball hit off his glove, then the wall. So BA saw that, nailed that part of the call, nailed the fact that it was a force out at the plate, and Contreras didn't have to make a tag. He made a stretch like a first baseman to get that out on that play, and then had the gumption and the awareness to run down to third base and get the tag. Truth be told, that could have been a triple play. There was one out when it happened, because the batter, Muncy, right? No, who hit it? They had passed the runner,
right,
went back to first for some reason, and they crossed each other, and they should have been out there, and that would have been a triple play. Tim O'Driscoll, the official scorer, who's done 2,500 games. He's been scoring games since 1987 for the Brewers. He's one of the premier and established. He's like the guy that they use, as an expert among the scoring community. And I have some experience in this area. Tim is the best. He was on it right away. He said, 8-6-2, grounded into double play.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a grounded into double play, 404 feet, never hit the ground, but it was a grounded into double play because there were 2 force outs on the play. Two batters were forced out, so it has to go down by rule as a grounded into double play.
If it never hit the ground, explain why it wasn't an out.
Because you can't, you have to keep the ball in your glove. It can't hit off of the wall.
Okay.
Once it hits the wall, it's in play.
But if but let's say, so the situation is it does not hit the wall, but it bounces off the glove and you're kind of slapping it up in the air and then you get it. Is it an out?
It's an out.
Okay. So it was just the touching of the wall.
Touching of the wall made the ball in play.
Gotcha.
And so the fact that the outs recorded at home and third made that a grounded into double play by rule. It was one of those freaky plays. It was absolutely epic. All right. We're going to take a quick break. We'll continue to talk about this because it was an incredible game. So many storylines last night. Crowd showed up, sold out crowd. Like I said, it was a lopsided 1-0 game. The Brewers were completely outclassed and still almost won. Kind of the theme for the season, I think. When we come back, a team that has not been outclassed very often this season, if at all, really. Green Bay Packers. The voice of the Packers and our friend Wayne Larrivee is going to join us for a couple of beers on the table. That is next. It's Drew and KB.
Back at This Week in History on iHeartRadio.
This week in 1931, we lost one of the greatest inventors of our time, Thomas Edison, at age 84. His inventions, which include the phonograph, the motion picture camera, and early versions of the electric light bulb, had a widespread impact on the modern industrialized world. This week in 1947, U.S. Air Force Captain Chuck Yeager becomes the first person to fly faster than the speed of sound. Because of the secrecy of the project, Yeager's achievement was not announced until June of 1948. This week in 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis begins, bringing the U.S. and the Soviet Union to the brink of nuclear conflict. Photographs taken by a high-altitude U-2 spy plane offered proof that Soviet-made medium-range missiles in Cuba were now stationed 90 miles off the American coastline. During the next 2 weeks, the United States and the Soviet Union would come as close to nuclear war as they ever had. And this week in 2007, comedian and actor Drew Carey takes over hosting duties on The Price is Right, as his first episode airs on the longest-running daytime game show in television history. Carey replaced Bob Barker, who retired at the age of 83 after hosting the show for 35 years.
And that's what happened. Thanks for listening to This Week in History on iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio! Here are the top Stevie Wonder songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Part-Time Lover. I'm with friends and we should meet. You pass me by, don't even speak. I know the word is sweet when part-time lovers. Number 2, Isn't She Lovely? Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? Isn't she precious? Less than 1 minute. Number 1, Superstition. There is superstition. Let us start to fall. 13-month-old baby, broke the looking glass. Hear more from Stevie Wonder and similar artists now. Search for Stevie Wonder on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
And now a look back at This Week in History on iHeartRadio.
This week in 1931, we lost one of the greatest inventors of our time, Thomas Edison, at age 84. His inventions, which include the phonograph, the motion picture camera, and early versions of the electric light bulb, had a widespread impact on the modern industrialized world. This week in 1947, U.S. Air Force Captain Chuck Yeager becomes the first person to fly faster than the speed of sound. Because of the secrecy of the project, Yeager's achievement was not announced until June of 1948. This week in 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis begins, bringing the U.S. and the Soviet Union to the brink of nuclear conflict. Photographs taken by a high-altitude U-2 spy plane offered proof that Soviet-made medium-range missiles in Cuba were now stationed 90 miles off the American coastline. During the next 2 weeks, the United States and the Soviet Union would come as close to nuclear war as they ever had. And this week in 2007, comedian and actor Drew Carey takes over hosting duties on The Price is Right, as his first episode airs on the longest-running daytime game show in television history. Carey replaced Bob Barker, who retired at the age of 83 after hosting the show for 35 years.
And that's what happened. Thanks for listening to This Week in History on iHeartRadio.
Fox on Tech. Apple has new iPhones and other things for you. The Cupertino, California tech giant held its yearly product reveal and promised the world and its devoted customer base it wants to keep to ethos set by its late founder, Steve Jobs, that usable tech must look good, feel good, and work well.
For us, design goes beyond just how something looks or feels. Design is also how it works. This philosophy guides everything we do.
Apple CEO Tim Cook during the presentation, which debuted iPhone 17, along with a Pro and Pro Max version, as well as a super thin first-of-its-kind iPhone Air, no thicker than a few credit cards. Improved Apple Watches, including Ultra 3 with satellite connectivity, and AirPods Pro 3 with live translations, allowing wearers to speak with one another in differing languages. You can order your new Apple stuff today. With Fox on Tech, I'm Evan Brown, Fox News.
Rolling through a Tuesday in the good land. It's Drew and KB bringing it to you from the Iron Jock studio, built by Remodel. It's time for a little beers on the table. We welcome to the program our friend, the voice of the Packers, Wayne Larrivee. He's presented on our program by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest when you're in Milwaukee, by Discount Liquor, and by Wisconsin Concrete Coatings. Hello, Wayne. How are you this afternoon?
Good, Drew. Doing well. How are you?
We are good. We are good. We just got the press release about your broadcast on Sunday moving to a different station. Well, we heard about it a little in advance, I can say, but we'll tell people that if you're listening in Milwaukee, you'll be hearing Wayne on a different FM signal, and I'm sure that'll be exciting for you.
Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of weeks, hasn't it?
It definitely has. Let's talk. Well, first of all, I want to know if you had occasion to watch the Brewers game last night. My buddy Tom Hardecourt texted me in the middle of it when Blake Snell was dominating, said it was the most lopsided 1-0 game in history. And I thought the Prince of Darkness nailed that one. And I'm sure you've covered football games in your time that were close on the scoreboard, but not close on the field. And I think we kind of saw some of that on Sunday.
Yeah, they have. It was funny. The Packers seemed to be dominating that game against Cincinnati in the first half, and playing lights out on defense and et cetera, moving the ball on offense, and yet they were only up 10-0. And actually at the end of the first half, the Bengals made a drive that seemed to catch a rhythm for the first time in the game, and then they start the third quarter with a 10-plus minute drive, and sucked the wind out of the entire game. Scored a touchdown, and now we had a ball game.
Do we underrate Joe Flacco? I mean, the guy's a veteran. He gets rid of the ball quick. And when he had those weapons, I don't know how many people make the catch that Jamar Chase did, but when he has those weapons, that guy looks like he could keep them. They're going to win some games against some people, don't you think?
Yeah, I can't agree with you more, Drew. And as that game went on, I saw more and more, okay, why did they make this trade? Why was it Joe Flacco they went after and maybe not Kirk Cousins or somebody like that? Well, Flacco certainly from a financial standpoint makes more sense. But the other factor is that he's not, when he has good people around him, he's a veteran quarterback who can still throw it downfield, and maybe Cousins can't, but Joe Flacco can still fling it. If they can protect him a little bit, he can definitely exploit the talent of those wide receivers and give them a chance to get their season on track before Flacco gets back, or before Burrow gets back, rather, in December.
Wayne, when Billy and I were doing Packers OT, a lot of people were saying that the Packers corners need to step up. And we kind of said, yeah, but you don't see that's the best tandem. T. Higgins and Chase are the best tandem that they'll see probably all season. All due respect to those guys in Minnesota and maybe even Detroit, but those guys are a cut above. So what do we make of the way the Packers defense and particularly the secondary played?
I thought, for the most part, and you pointed out the catch made by Jamar Chase at the goal line, they beat, I believe it was Keyshawn Nixon for the touchdown late in the game. That was just a spectacular play made by one of the best top two receivers in the game today. And you're right about these receivers, Drew. They're probably the best tandem, talent-wise, the Packers will face all season. Flacco, as we just mentioned, he can get rid of the ball quickly. We saw that in Cleveland. He can be very patient, but he also is accurate downfield, and we saw a little bit of that. Not much, but a little bit of it. And I thought the coverage in many situations where a completion was made, the coverage was right there. They got beat by a great throw or a great catch or both.
Do you think we're getting to a point, because when I was watching the game and I was watching with some friends, where do you see this team where's this water going to settle? Because they haven't played as good as they did in the first 2 weeks, but they're not playing as poorly as they did before the break. They're kind of somewhere in the middle. Is this where they're going to be locked in, do you think? And then have to improve and get back there?
I think, KB, they've got room to grow, but we felt that in the first 4 weeks of the season, even the first 2 weeks. Matt LaFleur mentioned to me on the pregame show, he said, we haven't played a complete game yet. And, even the Detroit game had some of its ups and downs.
Right.
But I think there's a lot of room for this team to grow. I think what you're seeing is they are starting to come of age offensively. And there's been nothing wrong with the offense. I'm not saying that the first 4 weeks of the season, but I thought they showed a pretty good offense against a Bengals defense that has bad numbers because their offense is one of the first month of the season. That defense has better personnel than the numbers indicate. So I thought the Packers did a good job offensively. I thought they showed the running game is going to be a factor. There's no doubt about that. They can throw the football. It's only a time before Golden takes a game, and by then, Christian Watson's liable to be back. I think they're going to be just fine offensively. Defensively, I'm got a few more questions there because they're not getting takeaways. They're not forcing fumbles. I think they're real good down to down. I think they have really good speed. They can cover to the flank, and they've been attacked on the flanks with these short passing games. But you look at the yards after catch in their games, it's minuscule for these teams they're going up against because the Packers are right there making the tackle. But the key to defense today, more than any other era, is take the ball away. That's what you have to do in today's game. Because these let's pin them deep because they'll never be able to go 80 yards without making a mistake and turning it over. Well, that's not the case with offenses today in the NFL. Even bad offenses can drive the ball on you if you don't take it away. And that's exactly what we saw at the start of the third quarter by Cincinnati.
Talking with Wayne Larrivee, the voice of the Packers, friend of the Drew and KB program here, having some beers on the table on a Tuesday. And Wayne, in other sports, it seems like star players maybe get a little preferential treatment from officials. It does not seem to be the case with Micah Parsons. I don't like to complain about officiating stuff, but a lot of people are posting videos of Micah Parsons getting held and mauled, and he doesn't get the calls. Why is that? What are you seeing from Micah? He's still impacting the game because he's a superhuman athlete, but he reminds me of Giannis when he plays because he gets mauled and he doesn't get as many calls as he should.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, Drew. I mean, they hang on him. He usually can beat that stuff. He plays above it. But, I think, I'm sure Matt LaFleur and his people are going to be making it known to the officials to keep a closer eye on this stuff because, for him to be kind of neutralized the way he was in that Cincinnati game, let me tell you something. There had to be some illegal things happening, meaning holding things happening on Micah Parsons for that to happen.
Now, Wayne, you mentioned the offense and the running game. It was great to see Josh Jacobs get a sweat, and the fact that he played as well as he did and ran as angrily as he did when he was told us after the game that he was throwing up on the sidelines, had a bit of a stomach bug. Oh, I was thinking of Michael Jordan in Utah because he was having a great game despite being sick. That's kind of the Josh Jacobs that we expected to see all season, is it? You mentioned that it looks like the running game is starting to find its footing, and it's probably not a coincidence that the offensive line was back intact.
Yeah, exactly. I asked Larry McCarron on the pregame show about the offensive line. I said, hey, simply, is it Josh Jacobs? Is it the offensive line? And then the changes they've had to make on that offensive line due to injuries. And and he felt it was more the offensive line. And you know what? You could see it, Drew. I went back and watched the Dallas tape, and whenever Josh Jacobs was in space, when he didn't have somebody nailing him as soon as he got the football, he was the same Josh Jacobs. And I saw more of that Sunday against Cincinnati. I thought the line being intact, and if they can put some weeks together, you're going to really see this line start to play and dominate. This is a top 10 offensive line. It really, when they're healthy and when everybody's playing, this is the top 10 offensive line, maybe better than that. So I anticipate that this ground game is going to come to the fore as we go forward here. And they'll have a challenge against a pretty good run defense and some big people up front in this Arizona Cardinals team.
Let's talk about time of possession. I believe it was the first drive in the third quarter that when the Packers finally touched the ball, there was only 4 minutes left. I mean, that you take the ball out of their hands for that long, that's going to keep the score down. I mean, what can Green Bay do? Well, I mean, I know what they can do, but do you see time of possession as being critical moving forward?
Yeah, I think the Packers have been pretty good with time of possession, and their defense forces usually a lot of 3 and outs, especially in the first half of their games. You know, it's interesting. Ryan Wood in the Journal Sentinel and I believe the Green Bay Press Gazette today had an article about how the Packers are top-heavy, dominating people in the first half, and yet in the fourth quarter they've given up 60 points in the fourth quarter alone. So the Packers generally have a pretty good handle on time of possession because their offense will possess the football with that running game. But Cincinnati came in, KB, the worst team in the league in time of possession. And that 10-minute drive, and by the way, they were matching their stats up until that 10-minute plus drive in the third quarter. So I think that was more of an anomaly, but by the same token, we talked about it a minute ago, the way you get a team off the field in today's NFL more often than not, take it away. Take the ball away.
Wayne, I have to give the Bengals credit because they came in and played hard with a new quarterback. And you look at it now, they haven't won since Joe Burrow went down since their 2-0 start, but they're 2-4, and they're firmly in second place in their division behind Pittsburgh because the Ravens the Browns are the Browns, and the Ravens have been shockingly bad at 1-5. So if he can keep them alive, they might do some damage. They still have Trey Hendrickson and those great wide receivers, but we are on now to Arizona. And you mentioned that they're big up front, and they played a gutty game against Indianapolis without Kyler Murray, and Marvin Harrison Jr. left in the game because of a concussion protocol. So when you watch the Cardinals tape, what are you seeing, and what kind of game are the Packers walking into Sunday?
Yeah, the Cardinals are down their top 2 running backs, James Conner, Trevor Benson, and so, Trey Benson, I beg your pardon. So they're down their top 2 running backs, and yet, they don't have a great running game to speak of. Kyler Murray will probably be back off that foot injury. He will give them somewhat of a running game because nobody moves around better than Kyler Murray, depending on his foot injury and how bad that is. They've got excellent receivers out there and a great tight end in Trey McBride. Trey McBride's as good as anybody in the league in terms as a pass-catching tight end. So that's what I see offensively. Defensively, big people. Dalvin Tomlinson, we've seen a lot of him over the years with the Giants and the Vikings and now with the Cardinals. Calais Campbell, a guy who has 135 career sacks. He's back with Arizona after being away for 8 years. Very active in the secondary. Budda Baker is as good as it gets in safety and can turn a game around with 1 interception. So this is a team that has some players. And going into the season, Drew, before all of their injuries, they've had a lot of them. They were one of the teams that was going to contend for the NFC West title. This is the way they've been built, and the injuries have, like so many other teams, their injuries have marred them. And, like you talked about the Ravens, nobody has missed more games due to injury than the Ravens have this season. And the problem with the NFL is we go into September, and all you hope is after 5 weeks, your roster isn't so injury scarred that you don't even recognize who's playing for you. Because some of these teams, and a lot of these teams around the league, are in that boat. Thank goodness the Packers aren't.
Couple more thoughts from Wayne Larrivee, the voice of the Packers, as we move ahead on the Drew and KB program. Wayne, 2 guys I wanted to ask you about. One was Matthew Golden, he seems like one of those guys that's going to get better every week, and we saw some good things out of him on Sunday, didn't we?
Yeah, we really did. And Drew, he runs great. I've been talking about this all year since training camp. He runs better routes than I expected him to run as a rookie. A lot of the plays he's making, where they're getting him to the football, kind of quick slants over the middle, that kind of thing. It's not just the flyby stuff down the sidelines, which certainly he can do. But, I think he's more of a complete receiver than people gave him credit for. It's just a matter of time before he gets into the end zone. But what an excellent addition. Romeo Doubs is having a nice year. Dontavian Wicks hasn't quite gotten on track. He's been a little dinged up at times, but he's catching the ball well. I think they're receiving Tucker Kraft, obviously. You could always sit back and say, they got to get it to 85 a few more times. And, that you would be correct in saying that. So I think they're really in a good place. I really think they're in a good place offensively. It's not where they're not at the top of their game yet. But I don't know if you need them to be at this stage of the game. I think you just want to continue to build to that. And I think the quarterback's playing very well. The interception he had came off the throw was maybe ill-advised, but the ball was also tipped. And so, he's been playing at a very high level.
I always think that quarterbacks' interceptions that are tipped should come with an asterisk and have their own category.
Yeah, they're getting real. You know what that's like? That's exactly like having to hit out of a divot.
It's true.
No, seriously, I always hated that. No, right, Wayne. I always hated that rule in golf. It's like I'm getting penalized because you didn't have any etiquette. So I'm getting penalized because I hit you in the hands and you didn't catch it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And of course, on the golf course, if there's no money at stake, we can always move the ball out of that divot.
Oh yeah, I always do that.
That's another game.
Winter rules. Wayne, the other guy I wanted to ask you about, we've been so spoiled because Brandon McManus has been so good, and we watched him warm up, and I thought, he hit a 50-yarder in warm-ups. He's going to play, and then he's announced it's ineligible, and we got to meet Lucas Haversick, and that was a great pinch hit appearance by that young man. What a story that was.
Yeah, it really was. He hadn't really kicked in the NFL on a regular basis since 2023. He played in 9 games with the Rams. Gutekunst and his staff give them a lot of credit. They had a couple of kickers in, including a couple they knew pretty well who had tried out for the Packers before. But they settled on this kid. He had the big leg. They felt he'd be accurate. And, boy, he was all of that. And the big leg, he was hitting. And by the way, Drew, that was not an easy day to kick in Lambeau Field. It was pretty windy on the floor of the stadium, from what I understand, and from what I saw in pregame, and yet that kid was solid. So that was great. That was a wonderful opportunity. I think McManus could have kicked maybe. He wanted to kick, but I think they decided, listen, if we send him out here and he really pulls that thing bad, then we're going to be missing him for 5 or 6 weeks. So let's just play it cautiously. They felt they had a guy who could fill the role, and they were right. And I think they were right in keeping McManus down for this week.
On the way out here, Wayne, we lamented it at the time, but I kind of felt like when the Packers had that tie in Dallas, that it might end up being a positive. Like if you look at their record as like 3.5 and 1.5, maybe, or if you do that, there aren't many one-loss teams left in the league. And now the Packers, by virtue of that tie, find themselves, a tick ahead of Detroit for first place in the division. So I don't know if it's always going to be a positive because you can't win the game that was tied, but you also can't lose it. So how do you think we're going to look at that tie when we get to the end of the season?
I had the same thought you did, Drew, and you should be alarmed about that because if you're starting to think like me, you've got issues. I thought the same thing. I'm telling you, this tie could work out pretty well. And so far, by the way, if the season ended today, and don't we wish it did, the Packers would win the division. So hey, no, I think it could work out positively. Certainly it could work out in a negative fashion, but a tie is not quite as bad as a loss, although for the Packers it certainly felt like a loss.
It definitely did. I believe it's the Packers, the Buccaneers, the Steelers, and the Colts are the only teams left with one loss now that we've seen what's happened with Buffalo and the Eagles in recent vintage. It goes to what we were saying last week and in previous weeks, Wayne. You just don't know in this league. It's week to week. Games that you think are going to go one way often take a turn on you.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, KB brought up a great point, and that where does the water settle on this team? Where are they? I think the next 2 weeks we're going to get a good indication of where they are. Winning a game on the road is going to be a significant thing, and I would prefer to see them do that before they have to go to Pittsburgh. So this week in Arizona, I think is a big game for the Packers. Win a game on the road, you push your record to 4-1-1. Now you're starting to make some inroads in the race in the division and that type of thing. So, these next 2 weeks, okay, this team, where are they? Well, if they're the team we think they are, they got to start winning games on the road.
Oh, it sounds like we've lost Wayne.
I hope he's okay.
Yeah, I think he just drove into
You guys there?
Yes, yeah. We're here. I think he just drove into a dead spot. That's okay.
Oh, then you missed my pontification. I'll never be that eloquent again.
Oh, I know.
Wayne. Oh, yes, you will, Wayne. You will. I know you got it in you.
Story of my career. The best moments on the cutting room floor.
I love it. Wayne, you're going to be visiting in the pregame. You're going to be visiting with Kenny Albert and Jonathan Vilma. They're on the call on the TV side for the Fox crew on Sunday with a 3:25 kickoff. Where does State Farm Stadium rank in your list in your pantheon of places to call games? I know KB and I love going to Phoenix. Where does that stadium rank for you?
The stadium, I've done a lot of games there, a lot of basketball games there, NCAA tournament games in that stadium, and, a number of football games. I don't like our and it seems like when you're there in that part of the field, the action always happens on the other side. So it's a little difficult to call a game from there at times. But, no, from a standpoint of comfort and that type of deal, it's a great stadium. It's held up well over, I think it's been now 20 years, if I'm not mistaken.
You're right. And it's there's going to be a lot of Packers fans there. There always are, but especially in Phoenix. I think Packers fans are going to definitely show up.
You can always go to the 92nd Street Cafe in Scottsdale.
There you go. Hey, Wayne, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. We appreciate having players on the table. Have yourself a great week, and we'll be listening on Sunday.
Where? We don't know.
Sounds good, guys. Talk to you next week.
All right, we'll talk to you next week. The voice of the Packers, Wayne Larrivee, brought to us by Potawatomi Sportsbook, Bet Above the Rest, Discount Liquor. Locations in Milwaukee and Waukesha. If you're ever in thirsty in those areas, feel free to check them out. They're awesome. And Wisconsin Concrete Coatings, a fine sponsor here on the Big 1070 and beyond, or 1070 the game and beyond, I should say. I'm showing my age on that one. Take your thoughts on the Packers. We'll take your thoughts on just about anything, because we're talking about whatever we want to. It's Drew and KB. We got coming up, we're going to be buying and selling, because we like to do that on the Tuesday edition of the program. At 4 o'clock, we'll talk to Bill Schroeder from FanDuel Sports Wisconsin, our buddy, about the Brewers and the incredible game won last night. Obviously hoping for a better result, but there was plenty to chew on from last night, including Blake Snell of the Dodgers having one of the best postseason appearances of all time, an all-timer. And then before you know it, we'll slide on down the back of the dinosaur and hand it off to our buddy Tim Allen, who is going to preside over a baseball pregame show leading you into Game 2. I'm going to say it. It's a pivotal Game 2.
It is.
It's not technically an elimination game, but it's kind of an elimination game.
I am not so. I'm not that bullish on the Dodgers.
Okay. Well, Freddie Peralta is going to have something to say, and the Dodgers are running Yamamoto out to the mound. And when the Brewers faced him last time, he had his worst game of the season. Andrew Vaughn met him with a 3-run homer. We'll talk about all that stuff. Tim Allen's going to break that down for you after 5. We got Bill Schroeder coming up at 4. We're glad you're hanging out with us wherever you may be today. If you're watching us on the stream, we love it. Our stream's brought to us by our buddy Murph, manager to the Stars.
I think, Madtown Ryan's going to bring the stream to us. He sent us a picture. We got people sending us pictures all the time.
Send us a picture, and you can sponsor an hour of the stream. 877-794-1973 gets you in. You're listening to Drew and KB.
Fox on Tech. Apple has new iPhones and other things for you. The Cupertino, California tech giant held its yearly product reveal and promised the world and its devoted customer base it wants to keep to ethos set by its late founder, Steve Jobs, that usable tech must look good, feel good, and work well.
For us, design goes beyond just how something looks or feels. Design is also how it works. This philosophy guides everything we do.
Apple CEO Tim Cook during the presentation, which debuted iPhone 17, along with a Pro and Pro Max version, as well as a super thin, first of its kind iPhone Air, no thicker than a few credit cards. Improved Apple Watches, including Ultra 3 with satellite connectivity, and AirPods Pro 3 with live translations, allowing wearers to speak with one another in differing languages. You can order your new Apple stuff today. With Fox on Tech, I'm Eben Brown, Fox News.
And now a look back at This Week in History on iHeartRadio.
This week in 1867, the U.S. formally takes possession of Alaska after purchasing the territory from Russia for $7.2 million, or less than 2 cents an acre. Public opinion of the purchase turned more favorable when gold was discovered in Nome, Alaska in 1899, sparking a gold rush. Alaska became the 49th state on January 3rd, 1959. This week in 1931, gangster Al Capone is convicted of tax evasion and later sentenced to 11 years in prison and fined $80,000, signaling the downfall of one of the most notorious criminals of the 1920s and 30s. Capone began serving his time at the U.S. Penitentiary in Atlanta, but amid accusations that he was manipulating the system and receiving cushy treatment, he was transferred to the maximum security lockup at Alcatraz Island. This week in 1973, the Arab-dominated Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, or OPEC, announces a decision to cut oil exports to the U.S. and other nations that provided military aid to Israel in the Yom Kippur War of October 1973, which would eventually cause a major energy crisis in the U.S. and Europe. The embargo was lifted in March of 1974. And this week in 1985, the first Blockbuster video rental store opens in Dallas, Texas. At a time when most video stores were small-scale operations featuring a limited selection of titles, Blockbuster opened with some 8,000 tapes displayed on shelves around the store and a computerized checkout process.
And that's what happened. Thanks for listening to This Week in History on iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio! Here are the top Fleetwood Mac songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Don't Stop.
Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop using me. It'll be better than before. Yesterday's gone. Yesterday's gone.
Number 2, Dreams.
Oh, thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing.
Number 1, Go Your Own Way.
You can go your own way. Go your own way. You can call it another day.
Hear more from Fleetwood Mac and similar artists now. Search for Fleetwood Mac on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
It's April 1973. Friday night TV means such must-sees as The Brady Bunch, The Odd Couple, and Love American Style. On the radio, Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Steely Dan had their first hit, Do It Again. Not long before their induction, co-founder Donald Fagen recalled an item he wasn't able to donate to the Cleveland Museum.
My parents live in Cleveland, and my niece, Emily, practices piano on the same piano I learned on. It's very cheap, Acrosonic, Spin It. And they were going to get a new piano, so they said, well, what do you want us to do with your old piano? I said, well, I don't want to ship it back here. I tell you what, let me call the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and see if they want it. And they said they didn't have room for it, so I had to ship it back to New York.
Jack, do it again. We'll turn it round and round. You go back, Jack, do it again.
For money-saving tips that can help put your financial house in order and avoid future financial headaches, call the National Foundation for Credit Counseling today at 1-800-388-2227 or visit them at nfcc.org, a public service from the NFCC.
The Dan O'Donnell Show, weekday afternoons 3 to 6 on News Talk 1130 WISN.
Jailbreak somewhere in this town.
The Drew and KB from the Iron Jock studio inside the Megaplex, built by Reamer Remodel. We're bringing it to you on this Tuesday in the Good Land. Bill Schroeder is going to join us after 4 o'clock today. Coming up next, we'll do a little buying or selling. Right now, though, I got to tell you about my friends at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, the best in the industry when it comes to hooking you up. If you've got pain, if you've got sports-related injuries or orthopedic issues, you need to go check out the best in the business. And they're located, they're local. orthowisconsin.com. Find a clinic near you. Don't limp around like I did. KB saw me, and when we were in Vegas together, I'm walking around the strip, and we're with some buddies, and the guys walking behind me go, you need a hip replaced. You're dragging the hip just like we did, because they had their hips replaced as well. And I limped around for a year and a half, and I said, all right, I'm going to go get an x-ray. And I went and saw Dr. Matthew Bong at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin in Pewaukee. They have other locations. And it was incredible. He took an x-ray and said, yeah, dude, you need a hip replacement. You needed it a year ago. And I got it, and it was life-changing. I was back up in 6 weeks, and now I forget that I even had it done. It was so awesome. The hometown specialists for bone, joint, and spine care are at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. They're trusted by Wisconsin families, athletes, and workers alike. Visit them at orthowisconsin.com to get started. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. orthowisconsin.com. Get us at 877-794-1973. This hour of the program was brought to us by our buddy Murph, who happens to be a runner for shows around town. He is a retired Teamster, and he is also
Pat McCurdy's manager.
Pat McCurdy's manager. Friend of show, Badger alum. Pat McCurdy puts on shows every year. He puts on hundreds of shows every year. But I think if you asked him to name his favorite show of the year, it'd be the one he does at the Memorial Union Terrace in Madison.
Why wouldn't it be?
Because he plays it in the late summer, and it's always perfect. And he plays that show, and he looks forward to it. And then at a certain point during the evening, he will point to the dorm that he lived in freshman year while he was a student at the University of Wisconsin. So Pat McCurdy is a Wisconsin treasure and a friend of ours. And Murph has been a friend of ours forever as well. Murph listens to us. He's followed us over here to the stream because we're not on the air in Milwaukee anymore. But Murph will be with us to the end and beyond. So shout out to Murph, who is bringing us this hour of the program. KB, who's going to be our sponsor for hour number 2?
We got a bunch of people that are lined up. I think, let me get this figured out. We got Madtown Ryan. I think we got so many people that are sending us pictures that want to be the sponsor of our show and support us.
We got a lot of hours to fill.
We got a lot of hours to fill.
Whenever they yank the microphones.
You know what we got to do too? When we come back, we got to go. We got to go through the talk and text line. We're getting some nice text, man. Even though our company doesn't like us, a lot of people out there do.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of people
they like
that
us,
like
just
us.
not the format in Milwaukee.
That's so.
That's all.
There's a lot of people.
Well, yeah, and we're going to talk more.
And we can't tell you how much.
It certainly does. It certainly does. Stay tuned. You're listening to Drew and KB.
Radio. Here are the top Billy Joel songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, My Life.
I don't care what you say anymore. This is my life. Go ahead with your own life. Leave me alone.
Number 2, It's Still Rock and Roll to Me.
Nowadays you can't be too sentimental. Your best bet's true, baby blue continental. Hot funk, cool punk, even if it's old junk, it's still rock and roll to me.
Number 1, Uptown Girl.
Uptown girl, she's been living in her white bread world as long as anyone would hot can. And now she's looking for a downtown man. That's what I am.
Hear more from Billy Joel and similar artists now. Search for Billy Joel on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Eagles songs that you thumbed up. Number 3, Life in the Fast Lane.
He was too tired to make it. She was too tired to fight about it. Life in the fast lane surely make you lose your mind. Life in the fast lane.
Number 2. Take It Easy.
Take it easy. Take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own wheels make you crazy. Come on, baby. Don't say nay.
Number 1. Hotel California.
There were voices down the corridor. I thought I heard them say, welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely place, such a lovely place.
Hear more from the Eagles and similar artists now. Search for the Eagles on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Queen songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3. We Are the Champions.
We are the champions of the world.
Number 2. We Will Rock You.
You got mud on your face, big disgrace. Somebody better put your bag into your place. We will rock you. Sing it. We will rock you.
Number 1. Another One Bites the Dust.
Another one bites the dust, and another one gone, and another one gone, another one bites the dust. Hey, I'm gonna get you too. Another one bites the dust.
Hear more from Queen and similar artists now. Search for Queen on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. iHeartRadio. Here are the top Elton John songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3. Tiny Dancer.
All the clothes are tiny dancer. Count the headlights on the highway. Baby darling, she's so landing.
Number 2. Rocket Man.
I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh, no, no, no. I'm a rocket man, burning out the fuse out every home.
Number 1. Benny and the Jets.
She's gotta let me booze. I'm gonna have food. You know I'm better than a magazine. No, Benny and the Jets.
Hear more from Elton John and similar artists now. Search for Elton John on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Broadcasting from the all-new Iron Jock Studios, built by Reamer Remodel.
Let's get this going right now.
This is WRNW-FM Milwaukee, 97.3 The Game.
No one knows who gave the order. When I heard it, wasn't angry. And I said to myself, this is the business we've chosen. I didn't ask who gave the order, because it had nothing to do with business.
You can take my urn to Fenway, spread my ashes all about it. You can bring me down to Wally Beach and dump the sucker out. Burn me to a rotten crisp and toast me for a while. I can really give a shit that I'm going out in style.
Live from the Iron Jock Studios and brought to you by Bryant and Stratton College Athletics, it's time to rock the rivers and shake the lakes with two guys fueled only by cheeseburgers, bourbon, and ice-cold beer at a reasonable price, of course. It's Drew and KB.
What do you call yourself? The aristocrats.
Look at my cat. Look at my cat. Look.
the reality is that anybody that knows Drew knows that he's been class personified.
I like to say about the world cities and airports.
KB brings just great instincts. That's what you love about him.
I live the way I live, and I'll die the way I'll die.
If Andy yearns for Brenda and Brenda cares about Charlene, who pines for Andy, the three of them form one of these. Kara.
What is it, threesome?
No.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit.
I'm a clam guy. Only eat clams. That's all I do.
Lesbians. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
37 in a row?
Who wants some man meat?
I do. I want some man meat. Shut the up, okay? Shut the up.
Do you want to start drinking?
Yes.
Clear alcohols are for rich women on diets.
You know I'm gonna have to go for 420, Bob.
Cheez-Its! Cheez-Its! Cheez-Its!
Light this candle. He's right. Let's light this candle. Light the candle.
Take me in the fairways where the ash is all about. Bring me down the lonely beach and dump the sucker out. Grab me to a rotten cliff and toss me for a while. I can really give a shit. I'm going outside.
Going out in style, or the style of yesteryear. Drew and KB from the Iron Jock Studio, built by Reamer Remodel. Capably assisted by the Polish pipe bomb, Jeff Orlowski. I'm Drew Wilson. KB is here.
What is going on, brother man?
Who is sponsoring this hour of the streaming program?
This right now, it is Madtown Ryan. Smart and good-looking listener Madtown Ryan proudly supports the Drew and KB show.
Thank you, Ryan, for supporting the Drew and KB program. And Ryan and everybody in the 608, everybody in Madison, everybody listening to us on 1070 the game, 1070 the game. Be aware that we are coming your way on Thursday for a football feast. We're going to be at Buffalo Wild Wings at Easttown Mall. Come and see us. The great Matt LePay slated to appear as well. And if you come and join us beginning at 3:00, we'll lead you right into that Brewers game that starts at 5. Game 3 of the NLCS will start at 5:00 on Thursday. And then that will lead in, of course, to Thursday Night Football. It's buy one, get one, boneless day. It's going to be fun. Always have fun in the 608. So come and see us at Easttown Mall. Someone had asked on the talk and text line if the football feast was still going to go on. This one is. Beyond that, just like everything else.
Who knows? But you know what? Hey, I want to send out, if you're watching us on YouTube or if you're watching the live stream, first of all, if you get at home or you know, you should just go to, if you're at home and if you were listening on the app or you want to see what we look like, and I don't recommend that, all you have to do is go to drewandkb.com and click on, watch us live. But you can comment there. And I want to do this. I want to say thanks to on YouTube to @Treadin1, who said Drew and KB without the regulations, keeping it real. If anyone can make this a success, it's you guys. So thanks for believing us.
All right.
We don't know whether it's going to be a success or not, but you know what? We're going out in style, as our boys, the Dropkick say.
That's right.
Dropkick Murphys, right. We're going to go. And we've gotten, we still have some people, who are supporting us. We're going to be giving, hey, if you got a business too, we'll give you free time on this stream. No one's selling it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, if you got a business, let us know. We'll promote anything. We don't care.
Yeah, if you're a smart, good-looking listener, you're one of us. You're here for the ride, however long it may be.
What are they going to do?
Let's go ahead. Yeah.
What are they going to do? They're going to go, you can't do that. They didn't pay for it. What the hell?
I like Madtown Ryan. I like the car selfie. I like having a smart, good-looking listener sponsor each hour or each segment on the stream. We can change them up. KB's in charge. So.
Yeah, we'll change them up, and we'll put other people. If we have any smart and good-looking female listeners who want to do stuff, I mean, nothing salacious, obviously, but you're going to see some. You're going to see some friends of the show that are going to pop on from every once in a while, and Dave's not here, man. On the text line says keep up the good fight, KB. Well, I am. What? It's not really a fight. The company decides what the company decides. I'm not throwing them under the bus. It is what it is. It's up to us to make the best of it, right? Yeah. We're going to do that. We're just going to do our regular show. We got 420 coming up. We're going to do buying and selling.
All right. Some of the people listening to us, and again, we it's called a reset in radio. Like in the middle of a conversation with Wayne Larrivee, you know his voice, but I got to say, we're talking with Wayne Larrivee. In case you just joined us, you're like, who the hell are you talking about? That's a pet peeve of mine for radio hosts that don't do that enough. Now, I've said before, podcast, different animal. You dial into a podcast, it says what you're signing up for, and you know it, right? But we do need to reset, because a lot of people listening to us now have been listening to us, and they're listening to us the same way that they always have, on 1070 The Game or via stream and on the app statewide, or if they're driving around. But our flagship of the Drew and KB network and the Packers radio network shut off yesterday at noon and began playing Adele and Pink and Michael Jackson and your favorite smooth rock hits. And so they decided that was better than us. It's not, but
I mean, Adele's pretty damn good.
And they're playing Katy Perry, and they're playing all those tunes. So we don't have a home on the air in Milwaukee, but a lot of the Milwaukee people are listening to us and streaming us and have followed us, and we appreciate each and every one of you. So again, this wasn't performance based, because we were performing.
Actually, when we put that thing in the front of the Open, not the one that's on there now, not Hyman Roth, but the one that was on there before that says we're number one. We were number one.
We were, and we started doing that when we were number 40. And
I know, but we actually grew into it, and that's because of our smart, good-looking listeners. So thanks to everybody who's been with us. We're gonna have fun. We are definitely going out in style now. People are asking, when will they rip the jerseys off of you? And I can't say for sure, but I will say it won't be till the end of the football season. Well, we don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But it could, yeah. So that's the ballpark. You got us. You're stuck with us for a while, and we're happy to be here. And again, we hope to see everybody, because it might be our last ever football feast, might be our last ever remote in Madison. So come and see us at East Town Mall for the football feast coming up on Thursday. And we'll see you at 3:00. We'll be firing up the football feast. Time for a little buying and selling. That is right. Just like in real estate, you buy, you sell. It's a pawn shop. It's buying and selling. If you have a buy or sell proposition for us today, we would love to entertain it. 877-794-1973 gets you to the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line. Buy or sell. I will open the bidding. KB, are you buying or selling that Christian Yelich will break out of his postseason slump during this series against the Los Angeles Dodgers? Christian Yelich has not had an RBI in the postseason since he homered to lead off Game 7 of the 2018 NLCS against the Dodgers. That's a lot of series.
Whoa.
Christian Yelich
not even
has
an
not
RBI?
had a home run or an RBI since 2018.
Wow, I didn't know it was such a...
The Brewers had 5 straight one-and-dones until they beat the Cubs, and Yelich he contributed against the Cubs. But
I mean, his batting
home run.
His batting average has been pretty solid so far.
In the postseason, it's
but he
like
just
230, I think.
I thought
in the
someone said he was
career.
Oh, this postseason he was
okay.
like 5 for 15 or something like that. Would put you over 300, but
but
it hasn't been doing it when you had people on base.
Since 2018, I think he's hitting like 230. So are you buying or selling that he could break out, because he looks lost at the plate again? Everybody has slumps, and the playoffs is a grind just like the season, but it's compacted, and so you can get hot and cold in the course of a postseason. But are you buying or selling that Christian Yelich will have a breakout game and we'll say, oh, there it is?
You know what? Just emotionally, I'm going to buy that.
Okay.
I'm not sure, because you're right. He does look lost at the plate, like he did back in 20, 25, 24, like 22, 23. After when he came back after he got hit in the knee and he seemed tentative. You've got that. You've got that situations where when you get him, it's like they'll throw something low and outside on him, and he's got that. The swing is kind of tentative, and it's kind of stepping out toward first and missing it. And it seems like he's putting pressure on himself. So,
but Yelich had, you can throw. Here's the thing about this: is if you look at guys' postseason records, it's the smallest of small samples. Right. It's almost unfair to say this guy's good in the postseason, this guy's bad in the postseason, because it's you fall victim to small sample bias. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's going to turn for Yelich, in the 9th inning last night, he had a really good at bat and drew a walk. And a lot of times when guys are slumping and they draw a walk, or they get a broken bat hit or a hit the other way and one off the end of the barrel that finally, that's the cruelty of baseball. Contreras against, I believe it was against the Cubs, hit that ball like 109 miles an hour up the middle, and it ended up being a double play and not a hit. It almost killed the pitcher, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Yelich drew a walk. He didn't do anything against Snell. Neither did anybody else. Again, Blake Snell yesterday was otherworldly good. Like, we're talking one of the best postseason pitching performances in the history of baseball postseasons. That's how good he was. And so you can't really judge anybody for punching out a couple times against that guy. But Yelich did have the at-bat and got the walk to help kind of set them up in the ninth inning yesterday. So you're buying. Pipe on, what say you? Is Christian Yelich due, or will he continue to be in a fog against the Dodgers?
Well, he's kind of like every library book I ever had. He's long overdue. And if the Brewers expect to win this series, he needs to start hitting the ball and driving in runs. So let's sure hope so.
Yeah, I mean, for the Brewers to beat the Dodgers, it goes without saying in the playoffs. We've said it before, but to win in the postseason, your stars got to show up.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday, the Dodgers have a lot of stars. That's the difference between the Brewers and the Dodgers. But the Dodgers have a $500 million payroll, and the Brewers have a $120 million payroll or whatever. But Freddie Freeman hit a home run. Blake Snell threw 8 dazzling innings, and those are 2 highly paid guys on the Dodgers. And they won the game.
Blake Snell, wasn't he a Cy Young Award winner?
In both leagues, he's won Cy Youngs.
Yeah,
the guy's phenomenal. And he's the highest paid pitcher in the game, basically. He's one of them.
What are you going to do?
Exactly.
Right? Exactly. What are you going to do?
And you just hope you don't have to face him, because he mauled the Phillies too. You look at the Dodgers steamrolled Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And Philadelphia's a good team with a lot of stars on their own. But again, it's not that the Brewers can't play with them, because they clearly can. But the Dodgers line up guys who have past MVPs, past Cy Youngs, and future Hall of Famers. I think obviously Ohtani's a Hall of Famer. They've got Clayton Kershaw, who's a Hall of Famer. Blake Snell trending that way. Mookie Betts putting up pretty good numbers and going to make a pretty good case for the success that he's had. It's just incredible. So again, like the Brewers are definitely the underdog, and it's not a slight on the Brewers. They're a really good team, but the Dodgers have more gunpowder. They have more firepower. They have more weapons. Brewers can still win. Stranger things have happened. And as this lays out, and in some circles, and I saw my friend Jeff Passan from ESPN wrote a piece about this, that in some ways this series is a test case. It is going to be used as evidence, and it will impact whether or not Major League Baseball will have a season in 2027.
Mm-hmm.
Because the collective bargaining agreement between the players and Players Association expires after next season. And if you're going into that next season and you're in the negotiations, and the Dodgers have won back-to-back World Series, something that nobody's done in 25 years. If the Dodgers, with their otherworldly payroll, win another World Series, even if they beat the Brewers, it's going to be, the owners are going to point to that as exhibit A of why they need a cap. And the players are going to say, no, you don't. If the Brewers win this, the players are going to say, see, you guys say there's a cap, but the Brewers, with 1/5 of the Dodgers payroll, just beat them. So if it's not the salary that matters, it's the management and the execution and player development. And they're going to point to that. So this is like a line in the sand series that goes beyond just, baseball fans in Milwaukee and Los Angeles. The reverberations from the result of this series could set things in motion and have an impact on the history of the game, on the immediate, future of the sport.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that is, and I get the feeling, and especially after last night and the way, I don't know. I know it's not as must-see TV as it used to be. It used to be baseball was king, and back when there was Sports Illustrated and there were 3 channels and all that, and a lot more people watch games. But anybody who watched that game last night, I got to believe you're cheering for the Brewers, right? And the way that the way the ninth inning, had Bryce Terang squeezed one through the infield and 2 runs would have scored and the Brewers walked them off, it would have been one of the more incredible victories.
Oh yeah,
in the sport, not just for the Brewers, but had they won that game, they had no business winning that game. I'm saying it because Blake Snell pitched so good for 8 innings. It was like Tom Hardicourt put it best. It was the most lopsided 1-0 score in history. Then Uribe gave up the insurance run, which ended up being huge. And the Dodgers are up 2-0, and the Brewers load the bases. But had they walked, it would have been like, are you kidding me? They had one good inning of offense, and they won a game against the mighty Dodgers. It would have been great. It would have been incredible. But I got to believe the country is rooting against the Dodgers are basically U.S. Steel, right? Why or the Death Star? Why would you root for them?
Okay. I said I don't really hate the Dodgers at all, and I don't. I mean, they're a great team. Although last night I wasn't really happy with Freddie Freeman being on his trot around the bases. But conversely, I'm sure a lot of people were never happy with William Contreras when he did his. So I mean, that's just kind of the way that ball is now. But I think you're right. I mean, people love an underdog. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I think, looking at the text line, we must be underdogs. But anyway.
We weren't, but we are as of Monday at noon.
We are as of Monday or noon. So Brad in the 414 says, so this isn't the B97.3 request line? How am I going to get some Ace of Base?
Pipe Bomb, can you name an Ace of Base song?
I can't.
I don't
I just know they exist.
Yeah, that's all that she wants is another baby, I think.
Oh, I don't know.
I think you're right, Pipe Bomb.
Hey, we'd like to send a shout out to R&B Farms in Madison for all your milk cow needs. R&B Farms. They are your milk cow experts.
That's fantastic.
There we go. They're trying to get their
there you go, Pipe Bomb. Let's rock it. Turn this place into a dance club.
Oh yeah, this one's called The Sign. I saw the sign.
Oh yeah, I saw the sign.
My goodness.
Oh, smooth jams.
All right. That's enough Ace of Base. As Jeff Passan points out, okay, so looking at these two rosters, the Dodgers and the Brewers, this is instructive. Of the 26 players on the Brewers NLCS roster, 15 were acquired via trade, including Christian Yelich, William Contreras, Freddie Peralta, and Trevor McGill, the closer for most of the season. The Brewers drafted 4 players on their roster: Bryce Terang, Jacob Mizorowski, Sal Frelick, and Aaron Ashby, all of whom are big-time contributors. They signed 3 through minor league free agency, and they brought in 2 through international amateur free agency, including Jackson Chourio and Abner Uribe. And they got 1 guy in the minor league portion of the Rule 5 draft. They have 1 free agent on the 26-man roster, and that is Jose Quintana, who they signed in camp and spring training to a 1-year, $4 million deal. So now the MLB Players Association, which fought for free agency and wants to herald a team that, they would be heralding a team that does not spend on free agents. Yes, right? Because they would be pointing to the Brewers and see, you can do it. You can do it. Well, they're doing it with 1 free agent. The Dodgers, though, you think, they got all the money. They're going to buy all the players they can, right? The Dodgers have most of their key players were acquired through trade too. It's 9, including Mookie Betts, Tyler Glasnow, Tommy Edman, Alex Vesia. So they play a good role. They signed 5 major league free agents: Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, and Blake Snell. 2 international free agents, Yamamoto, who's pitching tonight, and Hyosung Kim. 2 amateur international free agents, Roki Sasaki and Andy Pajes. And then 2 minor league free agents, Max Muncy and Justin Dean. 5 of the players that are on the Dodgers roster were drafted and developed by the Dodgers. That puts them 1 ahead of the Brewers, who have drafted and developed 4 guys on their roster. So the Dodgers are the double whammy of they can draft and develop, and they have money to spend to get guys.
Look at their payroll, for God's sakes.
That's what I'm saying. But they also, everybody thinks, they got all the free agents. Well, they also draft and develop more guys than the Brewers had. So what they do, and I do mean, it is one thing to draft guys, but to get them to the big leagues, you got to do a good job. Not every team, and a lot of teams can draft good players, but if you put them in a crappy system and they don't get the right instruction in the farm system and in the minor leagues, they don't always pan out. So whether you spend 500 million or 115 million, you got to get the best out of your players. And both the Dodgers and Brewers have done that in their own ways. So it's fascinating, but it's, again, like, can you win without spending money? Yeah, but you got to kind of hit the inside straight, right? You got to kind of have everything go your way. And if you have money, you have a lot more margin for error. But again, it wasn't that long ago that the Dodgers got swept out of the playoffs because Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman didn't do anything. They went over and they got swept. So they got to still play.
Just because you're paying a lot of money doesn't mean they're infallible. And they've been paying money like that for 30 years, 40 years. And they've only won how many championships? 2?
Well, the Dodgers are kind of like a little bit like the Braves. They've won their division 12 of the past 13 years. And they won the World Series in 2020 and again in 2024. So, that's not that much. That's not that dominant.
No.
But that's what makes this matchup so fascinating, is that you got like the Death Star against the average Joes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Brewers are definitely the underdog, and they deserve to be, because you look at the rosters, and again, 97 wins. Brewers beat the Dodgers 6 games in July, but the Dodgers are a different team now than they were then. And so, it comes down to the matchups. Can Mizorowski, keep the ball in the zone and strike guys out? Can Churio get hits? Can Terang get a hit with the guy on base or the bases loaded? The one thing that the Brewers have done is pitch well. And yesterday, they lost the game by giving up 2 runs. I'll take my chances. You give up 2 runs, let the Woodpeckers woodpeck, right?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
But this, as Jeff Passan pointed out, and people are saying, this is bigger than the game. It's bigger than this series, because they're going to use this as a test case in negotiations moving forward.
Pat DePierre says, did I hear Blake Snell's salary this year is more than all of the Brewers postseason roster pitchers combined?
Yes, I would say absolutely.
And that was when the one thing that I love was game 163. I keep going back to that because it was so glorious. But the Cubs that year, their pitching staff alone, the salary for the pitching staff was greater than the entire Brewers team. And that's what made it spectacular.
That's right. Made it spectacular.
Spectacular.
877-794-1973. KB, you got any buy or sell proposition for me? We'll keep this going. Send us your buy or sell props right here to headquarters, to the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line.
Buying or selling propositions?
Yes, sir.
I had one.
Are you buying or selling Ace of Base? No, I'm kidding.
I had, are you buying, what was one I had? I just had one. I didn't write it down. Are you buying or selling the fact the Packers will end up winning the division this season? Right now, they could very well do that. They will pull out of this funk and win the division.
Funk?
Well, I mean, they're
in first place. They're 3-1-1. Yeah, they're 3-1-1. They're a little shade ahead of the
shade
ahead of the Lions. I think they will. I think they'll probably lose the Thanksgiving game against the Lions, so that will even that out. But yeah, I'm buying that they're going to win the division.
Okay,
I'm buying it.
Okay, very good.
I'm definitely buying that the Packers are going to win the division.
Are you buying? Because I've had this conversation. I know I know where I stand on this. Are you buying right now at this moment in time? Shohei Ohtani is the greatest player to ever play the game.
Ooh.
He doesn't have the benefit of tenure yet.
I think you got to say, yeah.
I think so too.
I think you got to say,
when they say that
he's in the Final Four.
Without it, no. I mean, you talk about look what Babe Ruth did, but
Babe Ruth was a pitcher before he became the home run champ, and he was a very good pitcher. But Ohtani's doing them both at the same time. That's
when they have to change a rule for
he's elite in both at the same time at a high level, and yeah, I think he make a case. Remember when the Brewers had Brooks Kieschnick?
Yeah.
The college star from Texas. Oh, Brooks. I covered Brooks. He was a great dude.
Mm-hmm.
But he was kind of a novelty because he could pitch and hit. And he didn't hit that much in the big leagues. He didn't pitch that well either, but he was a novelty because he could do both. Great dude, though. Big old Texas dude. Easygoing guy. Great
Are
guy
you
to hang
buying or selling that Ohtani had a Brooks Kieschnick poster on his wall as a child?
I am going to sell that one. I don't think he would know. I don't think he would know what Brooks Kieschnick is or was. So I do not think so. Keep them coming. 877-794.
Oh, we got
197.3. Patton DePierre said the top 5 players' salary of the Dodgers is larger than the Brewers' playoff roster. Well, yes, that's very true. From the 262, sell walking Ohtani, attack him, and take the chance. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. I mean, he hasn't been hitting well in the postseason. He's been slumping, but that dude can get out of a slump in one swing. It's all it takes. And if you can avoid it, it worked last night, right? Pitch around him a little bit. Fascinating discussion. A lot of stuff happened in that game last night. We'll talk to Bill Schroeder from FanDuel Sports about it. I also got to hang out last night. It was one of the joys of being in the press box. I saw our pal Tim Dillard, and he was with his father, Steve.
Oh, very cool.
And they look alike. Tim's taller, obviously looks younger, but they do look alike. And I got to meet Steve, and I said, "Oh, very nice to meet you. I had your card when I was a kid." And he looked at me. I'm sure he's heard that a lot. "I had your baseball card." I said, "Yeah, it seemed like you and Biff Pocorobo were in every pack I bought." And he laughed. He goes, "Oh, I bet that's true."
Oh, my God.
Biff Pocorobo was a catcher for the Braves and a couple other teams. At the same time, Steve Dillard was playing in the big leagues. So he got the reference, and I think I made them both chuckle. Tim laughed his ass off that I dropped a Biff Pocorobo on him. So that's pretty funny.
Just like to say hi to all the folks at AG Architecture right there in the Tosa Village, specializing in multifamily and senior living. Go to www.agarch.com.
You can find us.
They support the Drew and KB show.
Maybe we'll see them at Left's Lucky Town for beer and wings.
And now we're going to break. So listen to the top 3 songs by some classic artist.
No, yeah. Let's we'll find another sponsor for the next segment. Thanks to Ryan in Madtown for sending us a picture. Send your picture in at 877-794-1973, and you'll see it on the stream. It's Drew and KB.
Life's from curving path, turns up into stone.
Looking back at the world of sports, it's the iHeartRadio Weekend Sports Time Capsule.
What's happening, fellow sports fans? It's Andy West, and I'm here to take you on a journey back to this week in sports history. We'll start off in 1940. Alabama snaps Tennessee's defensive scoreless streak of 71 quarters, but still loses 21-12. Tennessee hadn't allowed a point since October 29, 1938, when it beat LSU 14-6. Jumping ahead, this week in 1977, Reggie Jackson hits 3 consecutive home runs, all on the first pitch to lead the New York Yankees to the World Series championship over the LA Dodgers in 6 games, solidifying him as Mr. October. This week in 1988, in one of the most dramatic moments in baseball history, with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, an injured Kirk Gibson hits a dramatic 2-run home run to give the Dodgers a 5-4 win in the first game of the 85th World Series. This week in the year 2000, for the first time in NFL history, a game starts with back-to-back touchdown returns on kickoffs. Atlanta's Derek Vaughn returns the opening kickoff 96 yards for a touchdown, and St. Louis matches the Falcons immediately as Tony Horn takes the ball 3 yards deep in the end zone and runs down the sideline for a tying score. And this week in 2009, New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady had one of the best games of his career against the Titans, throwing 5 touchdown passes in the second quarter, an NFL record, in a 59-0 Patriots rout.
And that's just some of what happened this week in sports history. The Weekend Sports Time Capsule on iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
Here are the top Pat Benatar songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Love is a Battlefield. Number 2, We Belong. Number 1, Hit Me With Your Best Shot.
Hit me with your best shot. Why don't you hit me with your best shot? Hit me with your best shot. Fire away.
Hear more from Pat Benatar and similar artists now. Search for Pat Benatar on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Aretha Franklin songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman. Number 2, Freeway of Love. Number 1, Respect. Hear more from Aretha Franklin and similar artists now. Search for Aretha Franklin on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
If you have a smart speaker, listening to WISN has never been easier. Just tell Alexa, Google Home, or Siri on HomePod to play 1130 WISN on iHeartRadio. Then sit back and enjoy the excellence.
Fox on Tech. What did that WhatsApp caller want? Maybe they'll start leaving you a voicemail. WhatsApp is gaining some popularity in the U.S. It is a messaging app by Meta that has a lot of fans overseas, mainly because it relies on data and not cellular minutes, which is a cost saver for folks in Europe, Asia, and Africa. But one thing you couldn't do in WhatsApp is leave a voicemail, but that is expected to change soon. Voice messages in WhatsApp aren't new. Users are able to record them and send them within chats. Technoblog reports that in a WhatsApp beta update for Android phones, if a call goes unanswered, the user will now get a button to record a voice message within the phone call. No need to leave the calling environment and head into the chat with that particular contact. The big question for U.S. users, however, is will they check their WhatsApp voicemail in addition to their other messages? With Fox on Tech, I'm Eben Brown, Fox News.
You can always count on the Polish pipe bomb Jeff Orlowski to cleanse the palate. He played us some Ace of Base before, and now he's bringing us back. We're head banging.
Nasty taste out of our mouths.
Fantastic. That's why pipe bomb's a national treasure, and you should all join the bomb squad.
Absolutely.
As soon as you
That's
can.
still around.
We are buying and selling at 877-794-1973. Drew and KB from the Iron Jock Studios. Bill Schroeder joins us coming up at, he will join us at 4 o'clock today. The Rock from FanDuel Sports Wisconsin. We'll talk to him about the epic Brewers game, which, by the way, is replaying on the MLB network here in the Iron Jock Studios on the television behind KB.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching the inning unfold where Abner Uribe is about to walk in a run.
Well, you know, these guys, they're so freaking young. And, you know, I know that's not an excuse, but damn, you know, they're young. They're younger than hell. And you know, these moments are bigger than they may be used to. So it's going to take a little time. But I am, like I said, I am bullish on the Brewers here. I think, and I have said this, I've thought people did not want to believe they are a good team. They are a good team. And I'm saying they may not win, but I don't believe they will be embarrassed.
No, absolutely not.
I'd like to point out now that the Drew and KB show is being brought to you by Kenneth P. Bull, proud supporter of the Drew and KB show. If you go and follow us right now on YouTube or any of the socials where you see our live stream, you're going to see Kenneth P. Bull. I believe that's his LinkedIn photo that he's got
Kenneth
up there
P.
right
Bull,
now.
Who dispenses the motivational quotes and the
on
Jack Handy deep
Instagram
thoughts.
Coming up, and you know, in the next segment that will be sponsored by Gina in the Falls is going to sponsor a segment. Why do I feel like I'm doing a telethon?
We kind of are. Telethon or a eulogy
we
some
kind of
sort.
are.
Packers are off today, and mentioned before, we're going to be at East Town Mall on Thursday. Come and see us starting at 3 o'clock. Brewers play the Dodgers in Game 3 at
You know
Chavez
what?
Ravine. That's coming up at 5. So we'll be
Okay.
there hanging out, and
Here's
you
the
can come
thing.
and see us
If
in
you're-
person.
Yeah, if you're in Madison and let's say this, if you're in Madison and you're pissed off, right? Like, well, yeah, I mean, because we're getting a lot of people in Madison that are going, hey, thank God you're still on 1070, right? It's buy one, get one boneless, right?
Mhm.
And the Brewers are playing. What reason do you need other than that to come out and see us? Why don't you storm the place? And I don't mean like illegally. I mean, just, hey, get everyone to come out and hang out with us because we don't know when we're ever going to be back again.
Yeah, that's true.
So come on out. We want to meet y'all. There we go. Kenneth P. Bull right there. Most handsome sponsor you've ever had.
Good looking boy.
Don't take anything away from Ryan and Madtown Ryan. But, and again, as we were saying too, if you've got a business, we'd be more than happy to support your business. We'll let people know about you out there. We're not that way. We'll let people, R&B milk products, right?
Yeah.
For all
absolutely.
the dairy products. Thomas from Lacrosse is a proud listener of the Drew and KB show. We got a nice picture of him, young guy with the lacrosse mascot. So we're saving all these, and you very, very well over the next however long around the air may find yourself sponsoring a segment of the Drew and KB show.
Yeah, that's outstanding. Keep them coming. 877-794-1973. Are you buying or selling? And KB, I direct this to you because I was in the ballpark last night. You buying or selling that Ron Darling was better last night than he was in the Cubs series? Did you notice him, or was he counterbalanced by BA?
No, I did not notice him, and I will tell you why.
Why?
Because I figured out I figured out how to get the stream on the MLB app. As much as I love BA, okay, and I did hear some of it, and BA, absolutely right. And I knew he was going to be the consummate pro, right? BA, when he gets excited for the moment, regardless of what team
always
has done it. He would, if you listen to him, you would hear him fired up about, the Brewers when they were trying to rally. Okay. But when Freddie Freeman hit the home run, he was equally.
Yes, he was.
So
and
walked.
No one's going to be mad at him.
And if you didn't know he was the Brewers guy, you wouldn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I can't take listening to Ron Darling. I just can't. And I know a lot of people can't. I know you disagree. So that said, what I did is on the MLB app, you can get audio streaming. So all I did was I turned on Lev and Lane Grindle with, of course, producer to the stars, Kent Sommerfeld, Sammy.
Oh, yeah. Sammy.
And if you get YouTube TV and get that going and you just fidget with it back and forth, you can get it to sync up perfectly. So it's the app is a little bit ahead of what's on TV. So I get it going and then I hear what Lev says and I pause it. Then I watch, and as soon as it happens on the TV, then I start it again.
Okay.
And it matches up almost
dedicated.
Well, yeah,
I know people do that with Wayne and Larry.
Yeah, you can do the same thing with Wayne and Larry. Yeah,
I know they absolutely do, and that's why wouldn't you? Those guys they're good. You're used to your local announcers, but again, we had Matt Vasgersian visit us last week as the series was as the Brewers were going against the Cubs, and we brought that up, and Matt said, Ron Darling. He said there's nobody more neutral than Ron Darling, and he just said it's just not. And again, it's the way you perceive things.
Here we go.
The filter that you're using.
You know what? Blatt's Dairy Farm out there. I'd like to send a shout out to Blatt's Dairy Farm. They and all the people that are farming, helping to keep our citizens, our residents of Wisconsin nourished, and healthy. So we got R&B milk supply. There's enough milk. There's enough milk to go around.
Our previous segment sponsor, Murph, the manager, texted the program, and he said, are you buying or selling that the executive from Irehood who made the decision to take 97.3 the game off the air in Milwaukee is actually pig vomit from the Howard Stern movie? I can neither confirm nor deny that, but that characterization played wonderfully by Paul Giamatti. You buying or selling that Paul Giamatti is the generation, he's the next Gene Hackman? The leading man who's not that handsome, but he's an awesome actor, and he inhabits every character where you don't just look and go, oh, that's, Paul Giamatti. He's the character.
Yeah.
I love the show Billions on Showtime. He is so good in that. He's so good in everything he does.
Hey, what was the not the Leftovers? What was the movie where the kids at the boarding school stayed over a break? He was so good in that.
I like the Sideways movie too.
Sideways?
I'm not drinking to that
bleeping
Merlot.
Merlot.
No bleeping Merlot. But he is so good, and he inhabits every character. We'll have to talk to Matt Miller about this when we get Matt Miller on.
Here we go.
Paul Giamatti is fantastic, and his father was at one point commissioner of baseball.
There you go.
And the guy who Bud Selig thinks helped hasten Pete Rose helped hasten his demise. All the stress from that.
I got it like this. Here's a good buying or selling, and it's only strictly buying. I'm buying Drew and KB wherever the show lands, or whenever and wherever it goes. And go Brew Crew. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank
unnamed
you.
In the 608.
Thank you, 608. Phil on the talking text line said, are you buying or selling that Tyrese Halliburton is even a worse person than we thought he was? Halliburton has shown up at public events. On the day the Cubs were playing the Brewers, he had a Cubs jersey on, and last evening he was seen wearing a Dodgers jersey. Here's the thing. He's anti-Brewers because he was invited by the Brewers to throw out a first pitch, and then when they took down the Bucks in a series, well, Giannis is part owner of the Bucks, and the invitation was withdrawn, and so he now openly roots against the Brewers. So think about that. If your hometown team does a rug pull on you, what are you going to do? I mean, are you going to root for them? Are you going to ride or die with them? Or are you going to say, I'll switch teams? Especially, I don't know how big a baseball fan Tyrese Halliburton ever was, right? But he got dissed. He's getting his revenge. I don't know that I would react differently. I don't know that you would either. I don't know that any of us would.
That's a world that I don't.
We'll see if you see either of us wearing I Heart clothing anytime. you
know what?
No.
Hey, should we clean out our closet and?
We will.
We're not going to have any. We're not going to have any prizes to give away. We might as well give away our wardrobe.
Yeah, we probably will. Yeah, that's right. We don't have any giveaways anymore.
No, we don't.
But we're inviting people to come and see us at Easttown Mall.
Because we can't play. So we're not going to be able to play, any of our games because we don't have any, we don't have anything to give away. And even if we did, we wouldn't know how to get it to you.
Yeah.
Suppose we could mail it, but what you going to do?
What are you going to do?
What you going to do?
You're going to text us your picture and you might see it on the stream. 877-794-1973. Bill Schroeder's coming up in about 15 to 17 minutes from right now. We'll talk to him. We'll get his thoughts about how awesome Blake Snell was, the incredible double play that was almost a grand slam, the performance of the Brewers bullpen, which was lights out and has been lights out, Uribe hiccup aside, the struggles of Christian Yelich, and just everything that's going on with this team as the Brewers send Freddie Peralta to the mound tonight to try to even the National League Championship Series before it heads to Los Angeles. Again, it's not an elimination game, but in my mind, it kind of is. To go 2-0 down to the Dodgers and give them that lead, and the idea that you have to win 4 out of 5 against the Dodgers. The Brewers, by the way, have lost 3 of their last 4 playoff games. Just saying. Can't lose tonight. Tonight is an absolute must win. And in the division series, his last outing, Yamamoto, who's facing the Brewers, gave up like 6 hits, I think. So the Brewers tagged him earlier this season. So that has to continue. They need to win tonight and then take their chances. You are listening to Drew and KB.
Looking back at the world of sports, it's the iHeartRadio Weekend Sports Time Capsule.
What's happening, fellow sports fans? It's Andy West, and I'm here to take you on a journey back to this week in sports history. We'll start off in 1914. Babe Ruth makes his MLB debut, pitching a 4-3 Boston Red Sox win over the Cleveland Naps at Fenway Park. This week in 1934, Carl Hubble strikes out Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Fox, Al Simmons, and Joe Cronin in succession. But the American League comes back to win the All-Star Game 9-7 at the Polo Grounds. Staying in baseball, this week in 1955, St. Louis's Stan Musial hit Frank Sullivan's first pitch of the 12th inning for a home run to give the National League All-Star team a 6-5 victory over the American League at Milwaukee's County Stadium. The American League had led 5-0 after 6 innings. This week in 1972, Robert Irsay buys the stock of the LA Rams for $19 million and swaps the franchise for the Baltimore Colts. The players and coaches are not affected. This week in 1999, Team USA wins the Women's World Cup over China in sudden death. The Americans win 5-4 in penalty kicks, with defender Brandi Chastain kicking the game winner. Play ball! And this week in 2010, Brian McCann's 3-run double in the 7th inning provided the National League all the offense it needed to capture its first Midsummer Classic since 1996 with a 3-1 victory.
And that's just some of what happened this week in sports history. The Weekend Sports Time Capsule on iHeartRadio.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1967.
Try to set the night on fire.
In January of 1967, Los Angeles band The Doors released their debut album, which eventually goes to number 2, and features the single Light My Fire, which goes to number 1 in July. The Rolling Stones released Ruby Tuesday, an ode to a groupie written by Keith Richards. The song takes them to number 1 in the U.S. in March. And San Francisco band The Jefferson Airplane released the surrealistic Pillow album, scoring 2 top 10 hits with White Rabbit and Somebody to Love.
Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love.
In March of 67, Buffalo Springfield re-releases their debut album to include the hit single For What It's Worth. In April of 67, Give Me Some Lovin' by the Spencer Davis Group goes to number 7 in the U.S., with vocals by 17-year-old Steve Winwood. And in May, Elvis Presley marries his 21-year-old girlfriend Priscilla in Las Vegas. In May, Mitch Ryder hits number 4 with Devil with a Blue Dress, Good Golly Miss Molly. And the Jimi Hendrix Experience released their debut in the UK. In July, they toured the U.S. as the opening act for the Monkees in support of the U.S. album release.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1967, coming up.
Our favorite 4-letter word. Free! Free! Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
Fox on Tech.
OpenAI CEO Sam Altman in D.C. making the case that artificial intelligence is already making Americans more productive and that it's essential to democratize it by getting the technology in as many hands as possible. To do that, Altman joined Federal Reserve Vice Chair for Supervision Michelle Bowman to talk about the impact of AI on banks and businesses. Altman making the argument that it's not all doom and gloom, but rather that AI will create new jobs that we don't even understand yet.
There are cases where entire classes of jobs will go away. There are entirely new classes of jobs that will come. And largely, I think this will look somewhat like most of history in that the tools people have to use their jobs will let them do more.
OpenAI telling Fox Business they will be opening an office called The Workshop next year in D.C., their first office there. The goal is to expose lawmakers and government teams to artificial intelligence. With Fox on Tech, I'm Madison Allworth, Fox Business.
Drew and KB bringing it to you on this Tuesday in the good land. Game 2, Brewers-Dodgers coming up tonight at American Family Field. Football feast coming up Thursday at Buffalo Wild Wings East Town Mall. Mark it on your calendar. Come and see us. Get some wings, get some beers, and say hello or maybe goodbye to us as we watch. We'll be there watching. The Brewers game starts at 5, and we'll be talking to Matt LePay and hanging out with him watching the Brewers and mixing in a little Badger talk and some NFL picks and all the stuff that we usually do on the football feast. If you've never experienced one in person, don't miss this opportunity. That's all I'm saying. Don't miss it. No. Don't miss any opportunity. By golly, including Game Day Men's Health. My friends at Game Day Men's Health have helped a lot of men get off the couch and get their mojo back, basically. KB, don't sink into the couch and if you don't live your life with no energy and you wake up groggy from not sleeping well, it's could be a hormonal issue, a lack of testosterone. Testosterone production decreases as you age. And you go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com, find a clinic near you. Lots in the 608. Check them out and go in for a little blood work. They'll have it back in like 15 minutes, and they'll walk you through possible treatment plans, and you can start that same day. It's a great atmosphere inside the locations, very much like a sports clips. They got sports on the TVs and nice leather chairs and a fridge full of drinks and some snacks for you. Go check it out. Your personalized treatment plan will be based on your labs and your symptoms, and it will be monitored by medical professionals. They do testosterone replacement therapy, erectile dysfunction treatment. They do medically supervised weight loss treatments and peptide and vitamin therapies, as well as EPAT therapy if you're recovering from an injury or just sore. Lots of customers at Game Day Men's Health report improved focus, energy, sleep, libido, mood, confidence, muscle recovery. Who doesn't want all of those things? Go and check them out. You don't need a referral from your doctor. You just walk in and talk to the nice folks at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Pick a clinic, schedule an appointment online. You don't have to make a phone call. You don't have to lift a finger. You just click your mouse and schedule the appointment.
No finger lifting.
And go in. Yeah, you might get tired from finger lifting. That's why you need to get the replacement therapy. So just go in and check these great people out. It is a great business. Check them out. In fact, I'll be visiting them tomorrow as part of my daily routine, or my weekly routine, my daily errands. 877-794-1973. KB, who's sponsoring this segment of the Drew and KB program?
This segment of the Drew and KB show is brought to you by the lovely Gina in the Falls. Smart and good-looking listener, Gina in the Falls. She is bringing you this portion of the show. So thank you very much. Kenneth P. Bull was the last one. We had Madtown Ryan. If you want us to promote your business, just let us know. We'll give you guys we'll give you a hit. We'll give you a hit on the air because why not? I think if you're listening on the stream, when you go to break, you just hear stuff like, hey, these are the best 3 songs of Elton John. Okay, whatever. So we might as well give our friends, right, a plug. I'd like to say this. If you're in the Germantown, Wisconsin area or anywhere in the Menominee Falls, why don't you stop in and see Craig and all the guys at the pub at Blackstone Creek? It's one of the most fun places to go on a golf course. You don't often think about going to a golf course bar, a clubhouse in the evenings, but they do great. They've got a really good fish fry. They've got really good baked cod. That's like the only place Sue will go for baked cod. Pizza is pretty damn good. For Packers games, Brewers games, Craig's always got something cooking. So if you don't feel like cooking, why don't you go to the pub at Blackstone Creek? I do.
Excellent advice. Shout out to everybody streaming us on the X. We're at almost 850 people watching this little program of ours. We appreciate each and every one of you. And it's about to get better.
Now we're at 950.
Because we're going to be joined. I'm looking at X. It says 843 on my screen.
We're 9.
Maybe I need to refresh. But Bill Schroeder's going to join us next from FanDuel Sports, Wisconsin. And we'll talk to him about the Brewers as they get ready to send Freddie Peralta to the mound in what I think is a must-win game against the always hated but never feared Dodgers this evening at American Family Field. Bill Schroeder joins us next. And beyond that, well, don't forget at 5 o'clock, we turn it over to Tim Allen in the baseball pregame show.
Thank God.
So you're getting a heavy dose of Horsehide coming up. It's Drew and KB.
.97.3 The Game. This is what's trending in Milwaukee now.
And now a look back at This Week in History on iHeartRadio.
This week in 1931, we lost one of the greatest inventors of our time, Thomas Edison, at age 84. His inventions, which include the phonograph, the motion picture camera, and early versions of the electric light bulb, had a widespread impact on the modern industrialized world. This week in 1947, U.S. Air Force Captain Chuck Yeager becomes the first person to fly faster than the speed of sound. Because of the secrecy of the project, Yeager's achievement was not announced until June of 1948. This week in 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis begins, bringing the U.S. and the Soviet Union to the brink of nuclear conflict. Photographs taken by a high-altitude U-2 spy plane offered proof that Soviet-made medium-range missiles in Cuba were now stationed 90 miles off the American coastline. During the next 2 weeks, the United States and the Soviet Union would come as close to nuclear war as they ever had. And this week in 2007, comedian and actor Drew Carey takes over hosting duties on The Price is Right, as his first episode airs on the longest-running daytime game show in television history. Carey replaced Bob Barker, who retired at the age of 83 after hosting the show for 35 years.
And that's what happened. Thanks for listening to This Week in History on iHeartRadio.
Looking back at the world of sports, it's the iHeartRadio Weekend Sports Time Capsule.
What's shaking, fellow sports fans? It's Andy West, and I'm here to take you on a journey back to this week in sports history. We'll start off back in 1923. The New York Yankees win their first World Series, beating the New York Giants 4-2. To date, the Yankees have won the World Series 27 times. The next closest team is the St. Louis Cardinals with 11. This week in 1967, Major League Baseball's American League votes to allow the Athletics team to move from Kansas City to Oakland and expand the league to 12 teams in 1971, with teams in Kansas City and Seattle. This week in 1981, LA's Rick Monday hits a ninth-inning home run to give the Dodgers a 2-1 victory over the Montreal Expos and the National League pennant. This week in 1983, the Chicago Blackhawks and the Toronto Maple Leafs combined for the fastest 5 goals in NHL history, 84 seconds. This week in 2014, DeMarco Murray becomes the first running back in NFL history to start a season with 7 straight 100-yard games in a 31-21 win over the New York Giants. Murray, with 128 yards and a touchdown, breaks Hall of Famer Jim Brown's 56-year-old record. And this week in 2015, Jalen Watts-Jackson scoops up a flubbed punt attempt and lumbers 38 yards for a touchdown on the final play of the game, giving number 7 Michigan State a shocking 27-23 win over number 12 Michigan at the Big House.
And that's just some of what happened this week in sports history. The Weekend Sports Time Capsule on iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio! Here are the top Michael Jackson songs you've thumbed up. Number 3, The Way You Make Me Feel. Number 2, Beat It. Number 1, Billie Jean. Hear more from Michael Jackson and similar artists now. Search for Michael Jackson on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
We call it Wagertainment.
All right, place your bets, place your bets.
VSiN, every night at 6. Presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest on Fox Sports 920.
iHeartRadio. Soundtrack. Flashback.
So, what's a movie soundtrack without Smash Mouth? 1998's Can't Hardly Wait took us inside the mind of graduating high schoolers and gave us a slammin' soundtrack in the process. A big standout was Can't Get Enough of You Baby. It's a cover song, but Smash Mouth really made it their own.
I can't get enough of you, baby. I can't get enough of you, baby.
For more great movie soundtrack hits, check out Popcorn Radio on the iHeartRadio app.
Broadcasting from the all-new Iron Jock Studios, built by Reamer Remodel.
Turn it up!
This is WRNW-FM Milwaukee, 97.3 The Game.
No one knows who gave the order. When I heard it, wasn't angry,
And I said to myself, this is the business we've chosen. I didn't ask who gave the order, because it had nothing to do with business.
You can take my urn, but then whisper my ashes all about it. You can bring me down to Wally Beach and dump the sucker out. Burn me to a rotten crisp and toast me for a while. I can really give a shit that I'm going out in style.
Live from the Iron Jock Studios and brought to you by Bryant and Stratton College Athletics, it's time to rock the rivers and shake the lakes with two guys fueled only by cheeseburgers, bourbon, and ice-cold beer at a reasonable price, of course. It's Drew and KB.
What do you call yourself? The aristocrats.
Look at my cat. Look at my cat. Look. Look.
The reality is that anybody that knows Drew knows that he's been class personified.
I like to say about the world cities and airports.
KB brings just great instincts. That's what you love about him.
I live the way I live, and I'll die the way I'll die.
If Andy yearns for Brenda, and Brenda cares about Charlene, who pines for Andy, the three of them form one of these. Kara.
What is it, threesome?
No.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit.
I'm a clam guy. Only eat clams. That's all I do.
Lesbians. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
37 in a row? Who wants some man meat? I do. I want some man meat.
Shut the up, okay? Shut the up.
Do you want to start drinking?
Yes.
Clear alcohols are for rich women on diets.
You know, I'm going to have to go for 420, Bob.
Cheez-Its! Cheez-Its! Cheez-Its!
Light this candle.
He's right. Let's light this candle.
Light the candle.
Take me in the fenways where my ashes all about. Bring me down to Wally Beach and dump the sucker out. Burn me to a rotten crisp and toast me for a while. I can really give a shit. I'm going outside.
That's right. We're going out in style. We're going down swinging like Bryce Terang in the ninth inning last night. Welcome in, Drew and KB. We're in the Central Standard Distillery Timeout Sports Lounge, our happy hour oasis. Happy you're hanging out with us. I'm Drew Olson, joined by KB.
What is going on, brother man?
The Polish pipe bomb, Jeff Orlowski, who's about to hit the best walk-up song that we have in our whole library as we welcome to the program a very special guest. He knows his way around to Central Standard. TheCentralStandard.com is where you can learn about the delicious spirits crafted together by Evan and Pat and Jim Cantor, and they make some delicious bourbons enjoyed often by our friend Bill Schroeder from FanDuel Sports Wisconsin, who joins us now on the NicoletLaw.com Talking Text line. Rock, welcome to the program. How you doing today?
Have you had the cherry vodka?
Yes.
Oh God, yeah.
Early and often
with a little lemonade. I mean, that's about as good as it gets in the summer. But yeah, my good buddies down at Central Standard. I mean. They've been good to me. They've been good to Brewers Fantasy Camp. You know, a couple of years ago, they put together a package where every one of the fantasy campers got a couple bottles of their bourbon. You know, the wine cast bourbon with a fantasy camp label and their name and number on it.
Oh, very nice.
So
that cool.
I still have a couple of those downstairs, and of course they're empty, but I do have the bottles.
But you saved the bottles. That's outstanding. Yeah, those guys are aces, and they run the Craft House and Kitchen. If you're ever in Milwaukee, it's right near the Summerfest grounds. It's on the edge of downtown and where the Third Ward is, in a cool area. Great place. And they're going to open at Concourse C of Mitchell International Airport if you're ever through. That'll be soon. Nice. So, Rock, where were you watching the ball game last night?
I was in my house. I did not go to the game yesterday. We were kind of running around like crazy people. I'm not going to tell you where we were, but we had a big weekend. So we kind of took we watched the game last night. I tell you what, it was a nail biter. But I'll be there tonight, and I'll be out the rest of the series. And you know, the game's in Milwaukee anyway. But yeah, great, great ninth inning. Unfortunately, not able to. To pull it off. It was just an incredible night. The crowd was into it, and looking forward to tonight.
Blake Snell pitched about as good a game as you can pitch, other than if you're not Don Larson. For him to go 8 innings, then overpower the Brewers, he had one base runner, and he was erased by trying to steal. It was Rock. Yeah. That's as good as you can throw.
Well, the changeup. I mean, he was throwing changeup after changeup after changeup, and our hitters just we just couldn't make the adjustment. And I think a little bit of that has to do with a young, eager, excitable team doing some things last night that they really didn't do whole lot of during the season. Was it 10 strikeouts that he had? But I don't think the 27 Yankees would have hit him yesterday. It was just one of those games where he was on his game, and the Brewers. They were no slouches either. I mean, that bullpen was outstanding in yesterday's game, and you give up 2 runs, you're going to win a lot of games, but unfortunately not last night.
You'll love this, Rock. About the 7th inning, I got a text from the Prince of Darkness, our buddy Tom Harcourt, and he said, "This is the most lopsided 1-0 game in baseball history." And it seemed that way. The way Snell was pitching, they were only one run down, and then for the Brewers to mount up. Now, the soft underbelly of the Dodgers all season has been their bullpen. I think they've blown more saves than anybody in baseball.
Yeah, just the way the guys were able to. It was great to see, their starter out of the game, because once you get him out of the game, Snell. Anybody but him was going to be better than what they were facing for 8 innings. And sure enough, the closer comes in and he has problems, and all of a sudden the Brewers become real patient. They walk. And they had the tying run at third base, winning run at second, and I thought for sure I would have bet my bottom dollar that Terang was going to get a base hit there, but wasn't to be. But it was a good ending, and not a good ending, but it was it's typical Brewer baseball game where when you think they're out of it and you're ready to throw dirt on them, they rise out of the ashes and make it a game. So I was proud of the guys.
You want to know something, Rock? And I watched this last night, and there are people, the pundits, if you will, and even some of the fans that have been there since day one, and they haven't had since 2018. They haven't had a great performance in the postseason. But what I noticed last night is the people that were saying, "Oh, the Dodgers, you're not going to get past the Dodgers. The Dodgers are great. They've got all the greatest players in the world." Okay, well, they threw their number 1 pitcher at us, and they had their full arsenal of weapons.
Right.
And you know what? It wasn't 14-2.
Oh yeah, it was.
It was. It's well, when you look at it, you don't want to get into the nuts and bolts of the difference between the two teams. Let's just say this, regardless of the salaries and the MVPs that they have in their lineup, but it's just the experience that the Dodger team has, in the postseason. Just about every one of these guys have been there, done that. They won the World Series last year, and the Brewers, a bunch of young kids, very hungry and eager and excitable, and that play that Frelick made last night in center field is just incredible. Nobody's ever seen.
He is the biggest meme
like
on the internet right now.
Oh my
like,
God!
What?
And the one thing people aren't really talking too much about, at least I haven't heard, is how William Contreras he knew exactly what was going on. How many guys are going to catch that ball at home plate and feel like they have to make a tag? He saw that play all the way off the glove, off the wall, which means Teoscar Hernandez could have taken off as soon as that ball hit his glove the first time, because that's the rule. Even if he does catch it, if he catches it and doesn't hit the wall, and it was just horrible base running by the Dodgers. And William Contreras knew exactly what was going on. He stretched like he was a first baseman over there, and then he runs down to third base for a double play. Just an incredible baseball play by everybody for the Brewers. Frelick and Ortiz with the throw, but I got to tip your hat to Contreras understanding everything about that play and what to do in it.
You're right, Rock. That play was total confusion because of the Dodgers base runners, and it seemed like the only 3 guys who knew what was going on were the 3 guys for the Brewers who handled the ball: Frelick, Ortiz, and Contreras. And not for nothing, the Dodgers had a runner, pass up a guy out at near first base, and had the Brewers needed another out, that would have been an out, and that could have been a triple play because that guy could have been out.
Yeah, 4 outs. You only get 3, but it's just an incredible defensive play by all 3 of them.
We might never see that again. I immediately went down because Jason Stark from The Athletic was at the game, and he writes about all the weird stuff. He loves the quirky plays in baseball, and I immediately went down and blamed him. I said, that wouldn't have happened if you hadn't been here. And he said, oh my God. He said, it almost looks like the Brewers practiced that play. He's like,
I mean, they're one of the best defensive teams for a reason. And, you have a guy out in center field that hasn't been playing a whole lot of center field this year, right? So it looked like he probably might have taken away a home run. I don't know. It hit his glove
it was
off
close,
the wall.
yeah.
And he has one of the best throwing arms in baseball, not just the way, he's got, good velocity on his throws, but he's accurate. And then Joey Ortiz knew exactly, what to do with it. He did not hesitate. He spun around and threw that ball to home plate like they had worked on that. And you can't tell me that they have. It was, they work on cutoffs and relays, but not on a play like that. But all three of those guys knew exactly what to do in that situation. And if any one of them was confused at any point, that play doesn't happen.
Exactly. Talking to Bill Schroeder, FanDuel Sports. So I went and I was talking to Quinn Priester, and that's the first time I spent a lot of time talking to Quinn Priester, like 10, 15 minutes. And wonderful chap. He's a really good guy. And Rock, he said that amidst the confusion, he was like trying to back up a base and make sure nothing disastrous happened. And he said he looked into the Dodgers dugout and he saw Dave Roberts give the headphone signal. And he thought, oh, crap. He goes, because when we do that, we know 100% that it's getting overturned. And he thought it was going to be a grand slam. And he said his heart sank. And he thought, oh, it went over the wall somehow. And like Frelick brought it back, or it was somehow going to be a grand slam. So it was inches away from being a grand slam. But I got to say, your partner, BA, was all over that call.
Was very good.
And so was Tim O'Driscoll, who immediately knew it was 8-6-2 on the double play. And a grounded into double play, even though the ball never hit the ground.
It never hit the ground.
But it was a grounded into double play by rule because the two players were forced out. It's
How about Max Muncy? He goes from a grand slam to a double play end of inning, 0 for 1 in that at bat.
You know what?
That's a serious hang with him, Max.
Oh.
And hang with him, buddy.
It's
on
the
replay
TV
right now.
Here we're watching it, and it's just epic. It's absolutely epic.
What made it even the greatest thing was it was inning ending. And I'd like to take this moment to say that Bill Schroeder is brought to you by First Choice Heating and Cooling, proud listeners of the Drew and KB show. For all your HVAC needs, contact First Choice Heating and Cooling.
Well played, KB.
Well, can they come out and tune up my heater before I head to Arizona?
Yeah. You know what?
Going to cost me anything, or is that going to be on the house?
You've been on. Hey, you've been on for 8 years. They never got you a sponsor. We're sitting here on a live stream. No one knows who we're there. So we're just saying, hey, text the show. You can be a sponsor. We don't care.
Give you a shout out.
There you go.
Anybody can be a sponsor, right?
Absolutely. Gina
have to have a business.
My
You don't
dog.
have to have a business.
Get me a picture of Rupert. My dog Kenneth just sponsored a segment.
Rupert can sponsor a segment. That'd be
Rupert,
amazing.
I do have a big. Remember the cardboard cutouts back in
Yes.
2020?
So good.
I have a big cardboard cutout. Rupert. They had him sitting in the stands during
That's
2020
so
when
cool.
there was nobody in the
God,
ballpark. So
that
if you need one, I've got one.
That seems like 100 years ago. All right, Rock, you got to dispel a notion for us, because a lot of the keyboard warriors and the KB called them the pundit class. Terang's at bat last night. That breaking ball is coming in right for his leg, and he skips out of the way, and everybody's saying, why didn't he stand in there and take it? I'm like, you've obviously never stood in a batter's box before.
Yeah,
If you're geared up to
especially
hit.
when
What do you think about that?
It's
There's no
instinct.
way.
It's instinct.
Of course.
Instinct. I mean, for crying out loud, anybody that thinks are going to give him a hard time for that just has no idea what they're talking about. They've never been in a batter's box at any level. I mean, really. I mean, your initial instinct is to get out of the way, and you don't want to get hit, and that's the thing. Now, if he had it to do all over again, and he knew the ball was going to be doing that, he would have probably let the ball hit him. But you know what? Nobody knows that. Nobody knows the ball, where it's going to be. You don't have a do-over. So it's one of those things. So I dismiss it. I think that people that are giving him a hard time for that have no idea what they're talking about. And again, they probably haven't played baseball at any high level.
Now, the Terang at bat, if you want to have a quibble with a pitch, he did chase a fastball up around his eyes from the final pitch of the game.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit frazzled after that ball that came in on him. He skips out of the way, and then he's thinking to himself, dang, why didn't I let that hit me? So, it's one of those things that you can't do over. You don't have a second chance at that. And I think that kind of got in his head a little bit, but you never see Terang swing at a pitch like that. And you probably won't again. Got caught up in the moment. And, he said after the game, he thought he was going to be a sinker and it was going to go down, but it kind of took off and rose, and he swung and missed. So, those people that want to say that Bryce Terang is the villain in this situation, please, give the kid a break. I mean, he's been one of the best players, in baseball this year, and it was just an unfortunate situation that at bat last night.
Absolutely. Talking to Bill Schroeder, FanDuel Sports Wisconsin here, Drew and KB in the Central Standard Distillery Timeout Sports Lounge. Appropriately enough. Okay, Rock, we're shifting gears to tonight. Freddie Peralta, you got your best guy going in what amounts to kind of a must-win game for the Brewers. How are you feeling about Freddie?
Good. Freddie's been good. Freddie's been really good at home. I think, was he 10-1, including the playoffs, I think. I'm not quite sure what the exact numbers are, but, he's, led the league in wins this year. He's been good against the Dodgers. I'm confident. I'm confident. I'm just glad that Snell's not pitching again. Let's put it that way. Anybody but Snell is going to be a bonus for the Brewers, and I think Freddie's going to rise to the occasion. He kind of didn't have all of his great stuff in that start, at Wrigley against the Cubs. But again, I think that Freddie's going to be back to Freddie Peralta, and I think I'm looking for a good 5-6 innings out of Freddie tonight.
You know what? It's very funny because coincidentally, next year ABS is going in, and that could also stand for anybody but Snell.
Anybody but Snell.
I'd rather
ABS system. Yeah,
I'll take the bad balls and strikes calls if we could get ABS.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I tell you, all this stuff really, comes to light. When you're in the playoffs and every game and every at bat, every pitch is so important. When an umpire misses a call, in the playoffs, I mean, people want to just start, screaming and yelling, including me last night in my house. So, be careful what you wish for. I don't think that's going to be the end all. I don't know if that's going to solve all the strike ball situations and problems that people perceive that there are, with the umpires these days. They have a tough job again, and I'm one of those guys that can give them a hard time every now and again, but it's not as easy as it looks. When you're sitting there on the field and it's game speed and it's a fast game, and we'll see how that all is going to work out next year. But umpires, they do a pretty good job most of the time.
Absolutely. Rock, in closing, we didn't ask you about what went on because, it seems like a month ago now, but Saturday night, the Brewers beat the Cubs. And in some ways that was the championship. That one saved the season, because had the Brewers lost, people would have just said, flush the 97 wins. Doesn't mean anything, but they beat the Cubs. They beat Craig Counsell. They got to get the champagne celebration. They got the monkey off their back after 5 straight one and dones in the playoffs. What do you think that victory meant in the big picture?
No doubt. I mean, I think it meant a lot to the players, but I think it meant even more to the Brewer fans out there, right? I mean, I think that to get knocked out of the playoffs by the Chicago Cubs would have been a devastating thing. And, especially with, the 97 wins and setting a franchise record, to get knocked out, in their first round in the division series by the Cubs would have been a tough pill to swallow. But guys were able to rise to the occasion. A low scoring game, 3-1. I think the Brewers are going to need to hit some home runs tonight, like they did in that final game. So home runs win games in the postseason, and hopefully the Brewers are going to get back at it tonight.
They're talking on MLB Network about Teoscar Hernandez's wife heard footsteps and she wants out of the haunted Pfister Hotel. We'll take every advantage we can get.
There we go.
We need the ghosts. The ghosts are going after, like Mookie Betts stays at an Airbnb here because he doesn't like staying at the Pfister.
A lot of guys do.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. I mean, who says they have to stay at the Pfister anyway? There's other hotels.
That's
right?
true.
I mean,
that's true. But hey,
but the Pfister's a classic. We love the Pfister Hotel.
Is.
That's kind of like it symbolizes Milwaukee, right?
Yeah, you got to go to the cafe in there. It's amazing. Great tuna sandwich there. One of the best you'll ever find anywhere.
Really?
Tuna.
You're a big tuna sandwich guy.
Yeah, it's named after Herb Cole, Senator Cole. It was his favorite sandwich all those years. Absolutely.
I have never had a tuna sandwich at the Pfister.
Oh, Rock, you have not lived. Come on. You have had a Primani Brothers. You've had Izzy's Deli in Cincinnati, and you've not had a tuna sandwich. We're getting one. We're getting one next week, Goddy. We're getting one.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, all those things you just mentioned, I haven't been eating those in the last few years. So, as you get older, it's a little bit tougher to process. But anyway.
Well, that's all right. That's all right. Rock, so the Brewers, they're going to win this one behind Freddie, and you think it's going to take a couple of homers to do it? We're down with that.
Yeah, they're going to have to hit some homers. Yamamoto, the last time he faced the Brewers here, the Brewers, put up a 6-7 spot?
Yeah, Vaughn hit a 3-run bomb off him.
he only lasted two outs. So, hopefully, speaking of ghosts, maybe the ghost of Miller American Family Field is going to haunt him once again.
Fantastic. Rock, thank you for hanging out with us. We
Thanks,
appreciate
Rock.
it. As always, we'll see you at the ballpark tonight, we hope.
All right, guys. Let's get a big win tonight. Go Brewers.
All right. Thanks, Rock. Bill Schroeder, FanDuel Sports Wisconsin, joining us here. Brought to you by Rupert the dog.
We're gonna pick. We'll have him send us a picture of Rupert. Oh,
it's 420. Everything stops on the Drew KB program at 420. You know the drill. It's 420. So we asked the question appropriate for this time of day. It's 420. What are you, high?
Are you high? You huffing grass?
I love the live pipe bomb. How about that bomb squad? This is brought to us by HappyPlaceHemp.com. Smart, good-looking listeners statewide have been using their products. They're the best CBD products you can find anywhere on the planet. They're legal. They're awesome. They're locally made. Here, Rob and Chris working out of Muskego, fill every order. They make every product they sell. A lot of companies that sell CBD products, they white label them, and some of them might come from HappyPlaceHemp.com, the good ones. But Rob and Chris make everything they sell, and you can buy it all with a 25% discount. Go to HappyPlaceHemp.com, use the code Drew and KB, and you will get 25% off your order every time. Order the Drift Seltzer. It's wonderful. It's delicious. It's all natural, and it is packs a punch in different varieties and different potencies. Check that out. They have Drift Seltzer. They have Drift gummies now as well. All kinds of gummies, pet products. Check out the array. Do your shopping. Go to checkout and use the code Drew and KB for 25% off. KB, what do you got for us today?
Well, we're going to go to Florida, of course, but it's not a Florida man. It's a Florida woman who is arrested for battery. Okay. And what had happened is it happened at a roadhouse in Clearwater, and she is an escort. And what happened was the escort, by the name of Crystal Watts, confronted the victim and started spraying him with silly string, and then threw the can at him and hitting him in the forehead, causing a laceration. There was really no motive. She spent the night in custody and was released on a bond. And it's like, okay, you hired an escort, but you put her up on assault charges for throwing a silly string can at you?
Oh boy.
Because 5 minutes earlier, you're probably asking to get hogtied. It's like, what are you, high?
Are you high? You huffing grass?
It's like, I want to pay you $500 for the next hour. And what I want you to do is I want you to tie my hands to my ankles, roll me around on my stomach. And then she throws a silly string can. Hey, you crossed the line.
That's too far.
That is a bridge too far, sweetheart. You're in trouble now. Oh my God. So and she does have it looks like her online picture, her escort picture, that she is into little leather. So she probably is quite familiar with that. Dear God, just stay away from escorts. How about that?
Sage advice. That is 420, brought to us by HappyPlaceHemp.com. Check it out. Now, the picture that you're talking about, the South Frelick, as he's getting ready to make that throw and his hair is all weird and he's got a weird face. That's the one you're talking about, or the one where he's standing there going, what happened, or the confused one? Because I'm wondering which one there's two memes.
Oh, they're all over, though. The one where he's sitting. I like, because I'm watching it, and I was just kind of laughing when he's sitting there going, what? After he threw the ball?
Yeah, there's that one, and then there is another one as he's getting ready to throw the ball, and he's got like a mean mug on with his hair askew and swoopy. And Adam McCalvey said, no, that's the good one right there regarding that photo. We will repost this.
Okay.
But it's spectacular. It is absolutely spectacular. By the way, Jake Powers, we haven't seen a lineup yet, but Jake Powers was at the podium. They brought him in for the pregame interview, and it was revealed that he'll be in the outfield and starting tonight. So we got that going for us heading into game 2 of the NLCS Brewers against the Dodgers. Now, Teoscar Hernandez was asked, what did your wife tell you was happening with the ghosts? And the Pfister is notoriously, a lot of visiting teams get creeped out there. They say it's haunted. Right? I don't know. If you believe in ghosts, you believe in that paranormal stuff. I know my kid for a long time was into all those ghost shows, ghost hunter shows, and all that stuff. But a lot of people who believe the Pfister Hotel, the venerable hotel in the state of Wisconsin, actually, is haunted.
They've got a half floor there, too, or something, a weird half floor.
Teoscar Hernandez was asked, what did your wife tell you was happening? He said, the lights, some of the rooms, the lights goes off and on, and the doors, there are noises, footsteps, things like, I don't know. I'm not the guy that I'm going to be here saying, oh, yeah, I experienced that before, because I'm not, and I don't think I'm going to experience that. I think he wants to get out of the hotel. Well, the Dodgers are leaving now, because after the game today, they will probably return to Los Angeles.
Isn't it true that a lot of the Latin players, because of their religious convictions, they're bothered by it? I had heard that. I don't know if that's true. They tend to be very, very religious.
They tend to not like that. But Teoscar Hernandez and his wife have changed hotels. They switched hotels downtown. So quite interesting. All right. 877-794-1973. Also a great quote from Jake Bowers, who said, our clubhouse after a loss is different than most places that I've been. There's not too many times throughout the course of the last 2 seasons that I can think when there was a number of guys hanging their head or feeling down or feeling sorry for ourselves. There's that. So again, no one was moping around. I was in there last night. They didn't seem like they were moping. A lot of them were in clusters talking about Blake Snell and pitches. They were talking about the game, and they were spending a lot of time talking about that double play, because that was a freakishly interesting play, like once in a lifetime.
It was just, I watched it over and over. I couldn't believe it.
Yep.
And I loved it.
Absolutely. How could you not? All right. We are in the Central Standard Distillery Timeout Sports Lounge, entering the home stretch of the Drew and KB program on a Tuesday, because at 5 o'clock, Tim Allen's taking over, and he's going to get you ready for game 2 with a baseball pregame show. That tips off at 5 o'clock. Pipe Bomb, you're in for that. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Outstanding. And then you guys will put the band together again immediately after the game.
Hey, do we
You'll
have to
find
do
that on the
promos?
iHeartRadio app.
Coming up on the show tomorrow, I'm more of a jag.
KB's armpit noises. Guess what animal this is?
I've got some other things holstered up that we're going to have fun with.
Excellent. Excellent. You are listening to Drew and KB.
I want to get high, so high.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1969.
Low-budget film Easy Rider captures the public imagination with a soundtrack by Steppenwolf, the Byrds, and the Electric Prunes. The Woodstock Music and Art Fair is held August 15th through 18th on Max Yasgur's farm in Bethel. 32 of the biggest bands of the day played to a crowd estimated at 500,000. The event is later released as a movie and album. And with the boost from their appearance at Woodstock, San Francisco band Santana hits the top 10 with their debut album, Evil Ways. The festival undoubtedly immortalized Jimi Hendrix and ushered in the era of large rock concerts and arena rock bands. Also in October, Led Zeppelin have their only U.S. top 10 hit when Whole Lotta Love reaches number 4.
I'm gonna give you my love. I'm gonna give you my love. Oh, whole lot of love. Whole lot of love. Whole lot of love.
The Allman Brothers Band released their debut album on Capricorn Records to good reviews but limited sales. And 7 years after his last number 1, Elvis Presley tops the charts with Suspicious Minds.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1970.
Chicago breaks through with their second album, generating 3 top 10 singles, Color My World, 25 or 624, and Make Me Smile. And Simon and Garfunkel released the album Bridge Over Troubled Water. It would win the Grammy for Album of the Year. The single of the same name would also hit number 1.
Like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down.
In February of 1970, Paul McCartney files a petition with the court to dissolve the Beatles partnership. James Taylor leaves Apple Records and releases the album Sweet Baby James on Warner Brothers. He has a number 3 single with Fire and Rain and receives major publicity as a leader in the wave of new, more mellow singer-songwriters of the time.
Let it roll all night long.
The Doors get back to the blues with the album Morrison Hotel, which climbs to number 4 on the album charts. In March, Crosby, Stills, and Nash add Neil Young to their lineup and have a number 1 album with Deja Vu, which includes 3 top 40 singles. And New York hard rockers Mountain released their debut Climbing with the single Mississippi Queen.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1970. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rick Springfield to get some insight on his latest release, Rocket Science.
It's a guitar-based record for sure, and I love big hooks, and not a country record at all. It's a rock and roll record, but it does have some country elements.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from Rick Springfield and all your favorite artists.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Sir Elton John to reflect on how radio can ignite the imagination.
I grew up in an era, and I'm so grateful, after the war, the Second World War, where radio and records were primary source of music. But for me, listening to a play or listening to the radio and hear someone talk and reading a story, you had to use your imagination, like you do when you read a book. You read a novel and you read a story and you imagine what's going on. And your imagination is the most valuable asset you will possibly have.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Elton John and all your favorite artists.
Fox on Tech. Photo editing used to be the work of highly specialized artists and technicians. Cropping and burning, overexposing and underexposing all occurred in darkrooms using physical means. Nowadays, we click and drag a mouse, or we might even tap, squeeze, or select. As photo editing apps become both more advanced and more accessible to more people, not just photography professionals. But what if you could edit your photo just by asking? Google has that now. Unveiled Wednesday at their Made by Google event, Google Photos will now have a feature in which the user can simply ask the app to perform a desired edit of their image. They can ask by voice or even by typing the request into the prompt. And yes, it's powered by Google's Gemini AI. And no, you don't need a working knowledge of photo terms or techniques. Edit by Asking is debuting across the Pixel 10 series of smartphones. With Fox on Tech, I'm Evan Brown, Fox News.
Brew and KP bringing it to you from the Central Standard Distillery Timeout Sports Lounge. Yeah, we open it early. It's happy hour. What are you going to say? I mean, come on. We're not here at 5 o'clock because Tim Allen and Pipe Bomb are going to do a little baseball pregame show to get you ready for Game 2 of the NLCS, which is happening at 7:08 first pitch tonight at American Family Field. Game 1 was fun. It was must-see TV, and I think Game 2 will be as well. We were talking about buying or selling before. Are you buying or selling Murph's tradition of making everybody stand up and introduce themselves if he doesn't recognize you or if you've never been there?
I love it.
A lot of people don't. Some people do. It lightens the mood in the room. It is funny.
And he hasn't caught me.
Well, he knows who you are.
I don't think he does.
You had your wife in the dugout.
Yeah, but I wasn't in the press box.
Well,
but he
true.
probably.
But he's seen us, or Mike would. I don't know.
Yeah, he would. But if I was in there with Hunter, and he said go around, and everyone was going around, and he's looking and he's looking. I mean, I know he's seen me, so he probably thinks I'm. But I've never really been introduced, and as a radio guy, I don't ask questions. Hunter is getting very, very good at being a reporter in there.
Oh yeah,
I'm proud of the kid.
Hunter's.
But had he pointed me out and I introduced myself, I was going to say Kevin Brandt from the Drew and KB show. I was going to say 97.3 The Game, but that's kind of stupid.
Doesn't exist anymore.
I would have said Kevin Brandt. I'm Hunter's bag man.
There you go.
I'm Hunter's
assistant. We're all Hunter's assistant.
Hunter has done such a great job, and I'm proud of the kid. 4 years ago, he came in. He's just this timid little church mouse, and then, the other day, he just absolutely goes off on somebody, and I was like, "Wow,
we're rubbing off on him.
We're
Finally,
rubbing off
on him. We're wearing him down." and it's fantastic.
Here we go.
Okay, so you're buying that because it takes a long time. And I think some people think it's by design because he doesn't want to answer questions, but he's very leisurely and it doesn't seem like he's got to hurry and go somewhere. He actually likes that part of his day, bantering with the media. He actually kind of likes it, and it's a break for him. But, with this big Japanese contingent, with all the Japanese players on the Dodgers, there were 25 people there in the auditorium that he made stand up and say where they were from. And he's just like, it's an exercise. It's something. And I know Vassallo doesn't like it.
I know, but what's he going to do about it? Murph's the manager. And as I said last week, I go, I want to invite him to Christmas.
There you go.
Here we go. Oh. Hey, we got one here from Phil, buying or selling. KB excels in your new no rules format. Just going off unhinged. Well, thank you. Said, well done, sir. Well, thank you very much, Phil. I'm just going to say whatever I want to say. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and throw the corporation under the bus. Corporation, they're working at a different level than we are. They see different things than we do.
That's right.
Right? I mean, it's a grander scale. They did what they did. There's not much you can do about it. But I'm going to have a hell of a lot of fun before I go to the gallows.
You're damn right. We got people asking where Shanna is, and I'm not sure. I think she's got something else going on today, but she's still with us.
Yeah.
She still likes us. I don't think corporate has told her to stay away from us because we got cooties.
I don't know.
As we walk the green mile, I don't think we have, it's not that she's not going to come on, but she's just busy today. Inside Baseball, Hunter kind of lays out the show rundown. We have, guests and the timing of stuff. And if he didn't put Shanna on,
Shanna's not coming in.
Yeah. It's like she told him that she's unavailable. So we adjust. And this would normally be the time. I like the fact that people know that at 4:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we talk to Shanna Quinn from the country station down the hall.
Well, had Shanna been here, she would have been brought to you by Ocean View Genetics in Deerfield, Wisconsin. For all of your registered Holstein needs, Ocean View Genetics supports Drew and KB.
Yes.
We have a lot of in the agricultural industry. We have a lot of listeners.
We're huge.
Good. We thank you for keeping America fed.
Jesse Rogers from ESPN just put out an X or a tweet, and he said, we've already reached the Pfister Hotel as haunted stage of the series. Teoscar's wife won't stay there, says others are saying the lights are going off and on there and that there are footsteps. So you can almost set your watch by it, right? A lot of teams have moved to other hotels, but again, the Pfister has a reputation for being haunted. I think it's one of the coolest places in Milwaukee and in the state, I would say. Now, here's another one, buying or selling. And I don't know, this isn't like really a buy or sell proposition, but speaking of Murph and in the press conferences, he's bending over backwards to talk about how great the opponents are. He's buttering them up. And it reminds me a little bit of what Mike Shanahan did with the Broncos when they were getting ready to play Super Bowl 32 against Brett Favre and Reggie White and the Packers. Yeah, we have no business being on the field. These guys are amazing. Look at these guys. They're incredible. Look at all their Pro Bowlers. Like, well, and then, he was telling his team something different, but for the media, he was like lowering and tempering expectations. What do you think about what Murph's strategy is in terms of like, he's really, and Pipe Bomb, this, he's going overboard to talk about how great opponents are, even if they're not that great. Everybody's the greatest this, the greatest that. He's employing some kind of psychology because we know Murph could coach a fourth grade team and get them believing that they can beat the varsity, right? The high school varsity. So he's using some kind of psychology here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try not to put myself too far deep into Murph's mind. It's a scary, scary place. I have a feeling, kind of like Tim Allen's brain. But whatever he's doing, it's been working all season long. Average Joe's my ass. They had the best record in all of baseball. So, you can sit there and say whatever you want. And are these guys household names? No. But at the end of the day, they win.
Who cares?
A hell of a lot more than they lose.
Who cares?
Yeah. Well, what household are you visiting? Right. Well, yeah, John Heyman was asking Dave Roberts about it, and Roberts smells something rotten. He's like, that's his whole bit, that he's like bending over backwards to say how great the opponents are. And he said that's Murph's bit.
Do you remember when it would have been the second Super Bowl 32. That was the strategy.
That's what I said. Yeah, Mike
Shanahan did that.
Shanahan did that.
Took it out of the playbook.
Yep. He took it right out. He said, absolutely. He built them up. Like, oh, these guys are great.
I don't know how we can stay on the field with them. We're just lucky to be here. I love it.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm not arguing. Murph's about to win the second straight Manager of the Year award, and it's going to be well deserved. And but it's palpable, and the way people are so predisposed to be, pissed and skeptical and drinking haterade. I just wonder if that resonated with some people or not. That he's got to stop saying that, because, like you say Brewers can play with anybody, and they can, absolutely. But you would have to be. It'd have to be 420 for you to think that the Brewers actually have more talent than the Dodgers, and that they would be over. Like, you know what I'm saying? Is like
I didn't say that, but they can hang.
You said they can hang with them, but that's just it. But nobody would look at this and look at these players and say, "Well, I'd rather have Sal Frelick than Shohei Ohtani." Like, I love Sal Frelick, but I mean, come on, right? We love Andrew Vaughn,
but
I'll take Freddie Freeman. Right? That's just facts. Facts. It's just facts.
I mean, yeah, he's better. No, I mean but I want Vaughn on this team.
I like William Contreras. I said before, I think he's the heart and soul of the Brewers team. But the Dodgers might have the best catcher in ball. So just saying, it's facts. But it doesn't mean they can't win, and it's not a negative. And the Brewers are the Brewers. By the way, the Dodgers have won 16 of their last 20 postseason games, and they're 8-0 in games decided by 2 runs or less. Just spitting that out there. What does it mean?
It's
not much.
No,
not much.
You know what? Let's just hit the talk and text line, and I know we're not going to be. We'll still do it here, but it was brought to my attention through the talk and text line that people were getting ready for a Hallmark movie or porn film. I mean, that's
we'll be here. No, we'll be here.
We'll be here during the holidays, right? I think that might disappear. Who knows?
Well, that'll come back. No, that's not going anywhere. By the way, we haven't done a stripper poll yet either.
We'll get that going this week. Yeah.
We'll get to that this week. All right. Keep them coming at 877-794-1973. As mentioned, Tim Allen, the dean of baseball postgame hosts, is going to have a baseball pregame show for you today, and he'll also have a show tomorrow, brewing the off season, or what is it, playoff push? What are we calling the shows on off days? Pipe bomb?
I don't know. The Tim Allen experience.
The Tim Allen experience. Well, yeah, that's just it. Why not? But he'll talk about on the off day. Tomorrow's the travel day, and then they will fire up. In game 3, by the way, as a reminder, game 3 on Thursday will be during the football feast. First pitch is at 5:00. We'll be football feasting at Easttown Mall in Madison, and hope to see as many of you smart, good-looking listeners as we can. Go there for the beer and wings, and you don't have to listen to us talk football,
but
we might not even have to talk football.
I know it's buy one get one wings on Thursdays at Buffalo Wild Wings, and we still are on the air in Madison on 1070. So all the 1070 listeners, if I don't want to say goodbye to us, but I don't know if we'll ever be back there. And we like to hang out with you guys. So come on out, and let's let's hang. That's all I got to say. This part of the live stream brought to you by the Milwaukee Admirals. Their home opener is Saturday, October 18th. If you want tickets, go to MilwaukeeAdmirals.com.
El Jefe will join us tomorrow. He called in yesterday, but we'll talk to him tomorrow as well. Absolutely. They lost their season opener in Rockford, but they'll get back on the winning track coming up on Saturday night. All right, going to take one last break. When we come back, it'll be time for last call. Last call is coming sooner than you think. Last call is next in the Central Standard Distillery. Timeout Sports Lounge. Drew and KB on the game.
Let your mind go. Pros and I stand deep in your mind as you die.
Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
In February of 77, 60s band leader Manfred Mann has a new band and scores a U.S. #1 hit with a cover of Bruce Springsteen's song Blinded by the Light. In March, Foreigner released their debut album. It goes to #4 in the U.S., driven by 2 top 10 singles, Cold as Ice and Feels Like the First Time. Philadelphia blue-eyed soul duo Hall & Oates have their first U.S. #1 with Rich Girl from their 5th album, Bigger Than the Both of Us. Fleetwood Mac's album Rumors is released. It's their second #1 album in a row in the U.S., dominating the charts at #1 for 31 weeks. It spawns 4 top 10 singles, including the #1 Dreams.
When the rain washes you clean, you know.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1973.
Led Zeppelin released their 5th album, Houses of the Holy. It goes to #1 in the US and the UK and yields the top 20 hit Dire Maker.
But I still love you so, but I can't let you go. I love you.
The Doobie Brothers released their top 10 album, The Captain and Me, with the singles Long Train Runnin' and China Grove. And in June, Joe Walsh and Barnstorm have a top 10 album buoyed by the single Rocky Mountain Way. Also in June of 73, George Harrison scores a #1 single, Give Me Love, from the #1 album Living in the Material World. And Chicago's 6th album goes to #1 with 2 top 10 hits, Just You and Me and Feelin' Stronger Every Day. In July, 600,000 Jam Watkins Glen for Summer Jam, the largest rock festival ever held in the U.S. It features the Band, the Grateful Dead, and the Allman Brothers. And in August, those same Allman Brothers released their first album after the death of Dwayne Allman and had their only hit single with Ramblin' Man, which goes to #2.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
In June of 77, Ram Jam have a top 20 U.S. hit single with a cover of Lead Belly's song Black Betty. Chicago area rock band Styx have a U.S. top 10 album, Grand Illusion, including the top 10 single Come Sail Away.
Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me.
In July of 77, the Grateful Dead veered towards progressive rock, adding strings, horn, and a choir on their 9th studio album, Terrapin Station.
Terrapin in the middle is screaming, Terrapin.
In August of 77, the King dies. Elvis Presley's found dead in his home in Memphis, Tennessee at the age of 42. Detroit rock vocalist Iggy Pop releases his second solo album, Lust for Life. It's his second collaboration with David Bowie. New York's Billy Joel releases his 5th album, The Stranger. It goes to #2 in the U.S., with the single Just the Way You Are rising to #3.
I want you just the way you are.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977. Coming up.
Fox on Tech. Apple has new iPhones and other things for you. The Cupertino, California tech giant held its yearly product reveal and promised the world and its devoted customer base it wants to keep to ethos set by its late founder, Steve Jobs, that usable tech must look good, feel good, and work well.
For us, design goes beyond just how something looks or feels. Design is also how it works. This philosophy guides everything we do.
Apple CEO Tim Cook during the presentation, which debuted iPhone 17, along with a Pro and Pro Max version, as well as a super thin, first of its kind iPhone Air, no thicker than a few credit cards. Improved Apple Watches, including Ultra 3 with satellite connectivity, and AirPods Pro 3 with live translations, allowing wearers to speak with one another in differing languages. You can order your new Apple stuff today. With Fox on Tech, I'm Eben Brown, Fox News.
You see us coming and you all together
Drew and KB closing up shop in the Central Standard Distillery Timeout Sports Lounge.
Right now, just for today.
Yeah, closing up for just for today. Absolutely.
And we're still hanging out.
We're having, we're closing up shop just for today. And we're having some Red Cabin bourbon from Central Standard, and we're having some Pep's Draft House Pizza because we love Pep's Draft House Pizza. Turn your house into a draft house with Pep's. PepsDraftHousePizza.com.
Oh, yeah. And this last segment for today, we're going back, and it's going to be brought to you by our buddy Murph again.
Well, our buddy Murph and American Place Casino.
Yes.
American Place Casino, just south of the border. If you are in the hot corner, as we call it, the southeastern corner of Wisconsin, make your way across the line. There's no reason to go there unless you're going to watch a Wisconsin sports team womp up on a Chicago team. But you can go to American Place Casino. They've got a Circus sports book. They've got a harbor poker room. Delicious restaurants. Oh, baby, they have good restaurants. Asia, Azteca, North Shore Steak and Seafood, La American. They have comedy on the regular, great slot machines, great table gaming. And, of course, that's Circus sports book where you can bet on Wisconsin teams if you get an itch. So avail yourself of American Place Casino. Visit AmericanPlace.com.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537.
As mentioned, Tim Allen is going to take over at 5 o'clock, the baseball pregame show, getting ready for game 2. And again, I hate to say it. I'm not being negative. I'm being real. The Brewers have to win tonight. If they don't
I
win,
think you're right.
You don't go down 2-0 against this juggernaut playing the way the Dodgers are. They just steamrolled the Mets. You don't go down 2-0 against them, go into their place and feel real confident about forcing a game 6. I mean, it'd be great, but it's a tall order. You got to play really well. The Brewers lineup for today is out. I'll jump the route on Tim Allen. It is Churio leading off, Terang batting second, Contreras batting third, Yelich cleaning up at DH, Vaughn at first base, Frelick in center, Durbin at third, Bowers in left field, where Isaac Collins started last night, and Joey Ortiz at shortstop. So again, like Frelick hasn't played a lot of center field of late, but he's out there again. And last night he was in there for one of the biggest, freakiest double plays in the history of not just postseason baseball. So just wild. Panels have been open, and they were open last night, and the roof closed, obviously, and panels open. I think that's probably the way they'll go again tonight. So Brewers need more hits. I think if they get on Yamamoto and get that building going, that's going to be the key. That's
we need people to be loud. And the good thing about this is you're not going to get there's not a lot of people flying in from LA.
No, there were some Dodgers fans.
Well, there's Dodgers fans. They're
there
everywhere, but
are.
there's not. Yeah. It's not going to be like an invasion.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
So we can drown them out.
Yep. So Yamamoto was touched up for 6 hits in Game 3. That's the most he's allowed in any game since August 11th. And his worst game of the season came against the Brewers when he didn't make it out of the first. And we had Andrew Vaughn hit that 3-run homer against him. Time for the last call as we close down the Central Standard Distillery Timeout Sports Lounge. KB, what are you putting in your cup? Pour it into a solo cup and hit the streets. What's in your cup? What's your last call?
Well, all I can say is go Brewers. And I've been actually having a blast over here just doing it on streaming and everything like that. It's like, it's so liberating.
Doing what on streaming? Hey,
well,
hey, now a lot of people are streaming.
No.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
No, it's been an awful lot of fun. And my mind is just working overtime. So I'm kicking through some things in my head. And within the next few days, we are going to tell you how you can get Drew and KB back on the air free of charge.
Oh, baby.
I've got an idea.
Looking forward to that.
I got to flesh it out.
Yeah, okay.
But stay tuned.
And we might execute this idea.
I think we might.
That'd be great. All right. My one for the road is we haven't forgotten about the Packers. We're focusing on the Brewers for obvious reasons, but Packers are getting ready. They had their first win in a month. We talked to Wayne Larrivee earlier in the program. Always good to catch up with the voice of the Packers. And they're getting ready to go to the desert and face the always hated but never feared Arizona Cardinals coming up on Sunday at 3:25. We will be back at it again tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We will see you then. Have a great night, everybody. Enjoy the Brewers game.
Make good choices.
97.3 The Game. This is what's trending in Milwaukee now.
Looking back at the world of sports, it's the iHeartRadio Weekend Sports Time.